This is One Call That's All Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN. Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Chris, I'm good. Jordan Love is the guy, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Alex Strofe looking at me as I'm in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. Am I on the air right now?
Yes, you are.
You're good, yeah.
Sweet. I'm from the ESPN Madison studios today. Kyle Wallace, the heartbeat of the show, the second biggest Packer fan on this program behind Tori Lowe, who joins us on Tuesdays, the heartbeat of the show. Kyle, what up?
You can't tell me nothing. Shout out to Kanye West. Uh-oh.
All right. I got the sound back.
Okay.
Kyle, did you say what up?
I said you can't tell me nothing in my Kanye West voice.
All right. I was going to say, I thought you were moving in silence like G and lasagna.
Oh, okay. Lil Wayne, I see you who had an excellent open yesterday before Sunday Night Football.
Look, we have to start here because it's the only thing that matters, right? I know that playoffs are now important. I know that everyone's trying to look ahead to the playoffs. But if we just take a step back before even entering the conversation around the playoffs, the entire goal of this season was to evaluate Jordan Love. And when you're evaluating Jordan Love, for me, it was all about sample size, Kyle. You, Brad Nortman, Tori Lowe, just about everyone after the first 3 weeks wanted to marry him, wanted to just jump right in and get involved. And I get that. I wanted to see more. And we talked about the last 4 games from syllabus week as the weight of the grade in college. 50% of the weight of the grade was going to be on the Pittsburgh, LA Chargers, the Detroit Lions, and the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. And what did they do? They got an A. I know they ended up losing to Pittsburgh, but it doesn't matter because Pittsburgh was the start of the Jordan Love confidence. And then you take that into finding a way to win against the Chargers, then embarrassing the Detroit Lions after you were embarrassed on Thanksgiving, to Sunday Night Football center stage. The entire NFC North and the entire NFC side of the world is watching Jordan Love and thinking to themselves, are you kidding me? They're thinking, are you kidding me? This team is potentially doing it again, and I'm done with the word potential. They did it. Goody did it. Jordan Love is that good. He is that poised. I'm gushing Monday at 2 o'clock over Jordan Love. And if you're not gushing, you don't have a heartbeat. 800-990-3776. If you want to call in, go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee because that is where we are streaming. The text line is down, so I want all of your comments there. We'll be getting to hear from all of you, KBN Nation. But Kyle, did I say anything wrong?
No, you said nothing wrong, and I'm glad that you have finally come to terms and you've seen enough from Jordan Love in order to anoint him as the next franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blame you for not doing this sooner because there were some bumps in the road where a lot of people questioned whether or not he could be the guy. But what he did yesterday, he showed the world. He showed all football fans that he has officially arrived. This is about more than just being the Packers quarterback. It's about this guy actually is part of that group. We talked about that draft class. We talked about Tua. We talked about Justin Herbert. He's part of that conversation, and he has absolutely proved it with his play. But for him last night, on Sunday Night Football. Taylor Swift in town. Everybody's talking about that. Against the defending Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs. Against the best quarterback in the NFL and one of the greatest quarterbacks. And when I say this, I mean this. One of the greatest quarterbacks that I have ever seen play the game in Pat Mahomes for what he can do with his arm, what he can do with his legs, and the fact that he gets the job done and wins championships. He went head-to-head with him, and we said this. He had an opportunity to potentially duel it out with Pat Mahomes, and he dueled it out, and he out-dueled Pat Mahomes and got the victory. What we are seeing is magnificent, and as a Packers fan, I am overjoyed with the fact of knowing that this guy has that talent in him. This was not a coincidence. This should not be shocking to anybody. This is who Jordan Love is. And you know my favorite thing about this, Ben?
What's that?
It's the fact that Jordan Love, after this game, he said he had this game circled on his calendar for a while now. And he had it circled because his first NFL career start came against the Kansas City Chiefs and Kansas City a couple years back, and he did not play very well. The fact that he had this game circled and he went out there and he played like that, that just showed me that not only can he walk the walk, he can talk the talk, and in his head, when he has his mind committed to something, he can go out there and perform. This is just magnificent for this team in the way that he played, in the way that he grasped this offense, in the way that he has elevated this offensive play for the Green Bay Packers. So, no, I mean, this should be a great time, and everybody should be saying the same thing is, oh, my goodness. And the last story I'll tell is this. One of our producers we have for 1017 The Truth, he's a Chicago Bears fan. I walk into the studio this morning, and the first thing he says to me was, I can't believe you guys did it again.
Yep.
I cannot believe you guys. This as a Bears fan, this sucks. But as a fan in the NFC North, this sucks. Even for NFL fans across the league, they envy us. The fans envy us because the Packers are now going to have 3 straight quarterbacks. We're talking about 40 years, people. 40 years of solid quarterback play. So this is a great day for Green Bay Packers fans.
Yeah, I mean, we put it up on Twitter last week, Kyle. Actually, on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It was at KBN ESPN on Twitter, and we said, who's going to steal the show? Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, or Kelsey Swift? Now, 2 parts to this. A, undoubtedly, Jordan Love stole the show. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And then the funny thing is our hope as 2 anti-Swifties, can I call us that, Kyle?
I'm fine with that definition.
I mean, look, our hope was in Joe Barry, because if Travis Kelce went off, the media circus of a Sunday Night Football game, knowing families are watching on TV, would have the camera pan, right to Taylor Swift. He had 4 catches. You know how many times you can camera pan after 4 catches? Only 4. And so it was amazing that the defense stepped up. Joe Barry kept Taylor Swift in check. Yes, I'm saying Taylor Swift in check. And Patrick Mahomes is still trying to figure out how to work with the team that is clearly flawed. This is exactly what we talked about. They got the win against Detroit, and the cool thing about getting the win against Detroit was they had an opportunity to take a step back. You know what you do when you beat a team in your division that's 8-2 and you're a young team? You get a little, you eat the fat. You start, celebrating a little bit more. Everything's good. We're going to roll out the ball. We're going to, snap it. Jordan Love. They didn't do that. Matt LaFleur and this team was prepared for Kansas City. They took it to Kansas City, and I continue to just be impressed with Jordan Love's decision making. Like, he is so confident back there. It's like we talk about quarterback play across the league and how it's down. I watch Jordan Love, and I'm not watching everything that I watched all day Sunday. I'm watching somebody who's making confident throws, who's going through the right progressions. When he sees the matchup he wants, step back, drop back, boom, toss, and he's hitting it on the spot. I walk away from that game knowing that the entire goal of this season was to evaluate Jordan Love, and I'll say it. It doesn't matter if I'm not going to be wrong on this one, because Jordan Love has enough evidence now against really good teams with this young of wide receivers and tight ends, no Aaron Jones, no David Bakhtiari, to see what he is doing with what has transpired this season should be talked about more.
It's very impressive. It's very impressive. You talk about dogs of the game, right? And that's exactly what Jordan Love was. He's an absolute dog. And the display of what he did yesterday with the poise, the confidence that he had, and more importantly, the fact that Matt LaFleur can now open up this offensive playbook so much more, and you see the creativity that they have. Now that guys know what they're doing around Jordan Love has been able to excel and lead the team that he needed to do. But then on top of that, he's proven everybody that he's absolutely the man. So 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the last 3 games. Our team has won 4 of the last 5 games. This is just an incredible run that the Green Bay Packers are on. But like you said before, the victory against the Lions and to back it up against the victory against the Chiefs, this team is confident, and this team now understands what their goal is. The goal before for us fans was to see, again, what Jordan Love could be, see how many games we can win. This team right now is playing like a true playoff football team. They truly believe in themselves. It doesn't matter who's not there. They have confidence. The offensive line gave him time to throw the ball, and he threw exceptionally well yesterday. So, again, Ben, we're jumping in.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, it's just a great day. But for you overall, I know you better get ready. It's getting cold outside. I did Green Bay Game Day live from Lambeau Field yesterday, and it was chilly outside. And how your pockets feeling today?
So, for those who don't know what Kyle's talking about, I have pledged $100 starting yesterday for every Jordan Love touchdown thrown through the end of the season, and that includes the playoffs. And through great support and pledges from Craig Karmazin, Potosi Brewing Company, and I will list them all off as we continue to talk about it throughout the time. We're up to $1,900 per touchdown.
Big money.
So just yesterday, Jordan Love throwing 3 touchdowns raised $5,700 to Guarding Against Cancer. And so, yes, I will be doing 100 per touchdown. I hope he throws 20 the rest of the way. No, he had 3 yesterday.
And it's just, again, this is just great. And looking forward to the next couple games. Could Jordan Love, we heard this last week, right? Nolan came on and he gave
Hang on real quick, and if you want to get involved, touchdownsforlove.com, because you can just donate. You don't have to pledge money for every touchdown. You can just get involved for the great thing we're doing with Guarding Against Cancer. And the second part of what you said, Kyle, is I was dumb enough to say I think there's no way that this Green Bay Packers team makes the playoffs, and if they do, I'll jump in Lake Michigan. Well, that sparked beating the Lions, and that sparked beating the Chiefs, and I'll take full credit for it. Go ahead.
The Green Bay, they wanted you to jump in. But last week, Nolan did the take machine. We had people, do the take machine on Thursday, and one of the takes was Jordan Love, after this week, was going to be an MVP candidate. Does that sound too crazy now?
It doesn't. When you think about that, I'm getting tweets, I'm getting texts of his touchdown interceptions. I believe he has 4 games this year with 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, which leads the NFL. And
you said what now? Say it again.
4 games of 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, which leads the NFL.
Okay. Just making sure everybody heard it and make sure the people in the back heard it as well.
And again, it's one of those things where I want to go back to something that I can't state enough. Think about the first-year starter with the all-pro left tackle out, with Luke Musgrave, your second-round pick, out a couple games now. Aaron Jones has essentially been out, the youngest wide receiver and tight end group since the 0-16 Browns. Think about everything that could be working against Jordan Love and how he's been able to grab on to every single one of them. Hearing A.J. Dillon talk to NBC after the game about how he's a leader of men. That makes it easy for me to root for him to score touchdowns, to give money to cancer, because he's easy to like, and he's got poise and confidence that I really, 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 really am embracing. Like, if you're not embracing it, you're just fighting the truth.
That's the truth, and really the sky's the limit at this point for Jordan Love, because, again, everything that he has done, and it's not just what he's doing, it's the fact that the improvement that we have seen overall from this offense, but the improvement from what we saw, week 1 he was spectacular, but then you had that rough run in there where you're just like, man, oh man, this offense looks bad. They can't score any points in the first half. They can't do this. They can't do that. But to see them continually get better, that's what sports is all about. That's not just what sports is about. That's what everything in life is about, right, Ben? Everything in life is when you do something, it's about getting better at it. Whether it's learning how to walk, like for people when you're a kid, whether it's going to school and getting better, whether it's doing radio, whether it's playing sports, whether it's a shooter. You're a shooter. You weren't a great shooter when you first picked up a basketball, but by the time that you went to Wisconsin, you were a really good shooter. And Jordan Love and his offense and this team has progressed. They've taken steps. What they were week 2 is not what they were now going into week 14 for the Green Bay Packers, which is a positive for this team.
You know who I haven't mentioned that deserves credit?
Who is that?
2 guys. Matty Mouse LaFleur is retired.
Yeah.
It is retired. It is done, gone forever. No more Matty Mouse. Also, I think Goody still has criticisms, but he maybe saved his job for the next 10 years no matter what. Because Jordan Love being the guy gives him the opportunity to be the general manager the same way it did for Ted when he drafted Aaron Rodgers. And obviously, Ted was within the organization. Goody's been there forever. That was huge on a big stage, 2 primetime games. Ed chimes in, Ben, I'm not ready to crown him yet, but I'm willing to bet you they lose to the Giants. Not fielding that today, guys. It is Jordan Love Day. Chris Larson running the show. It is positive music only. I don't care if we're cliche. Celebrate good times by Kool and the Gang. I don't care. We are celebrating the idea that the NFC North and every fan base watching last night is thinking, oh no. They done it again. 800-990-3776 on YouTube at ESP Milwaukee. Join us there. The text line's down, which is a perfect opportunity for you to go to YouTube at ESP Milwaukee and interact with us. 800-990-3776. Are the Packers the best team in the NFC North? I think I know what Kyle's answer is. We'll get to you next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
Okay, but you could say the same thing about NFL sports teams fans.
Like Kyle Wallace.
Oh, no, this is totally different.
No, Kyle, seriously, tell me the difference between getting dressed up, going to a Taylor Swift concert, versus getting dressed up, going to an NFL game.
This conversation was
good.
That is good.
That's a great response.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Football Guy.
What the hell happened to Bucky on your hat?
Football Guy.
A lot of wear and tear for old B.
Coming at it from different views.
I'm just saying, he's well worn. I mean, his face is missing. Okay, well, it's probably time for me to freshen that up. Bucky wants to flip you off right now.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely going to need a cold one. There's the one. I'm back again with Wonder from Potosi Brewing Company. Another special Potosi holiday brew in my hand, and Wonder's going to spread that holiday cheer by telling everyone about their latest creation.
Cow pie dessert stout. You've all had the candy from Baraboo Candy Company. They asked us to collab with themselves, and it emulates the cow pie candy. It has caramel, pecans, and chocolate. The cow pie, of course, is a dessert stout, so I would have it with a dessert. You could probably plop in a scoop of vanilla ice cream in your glass, and you would have your own dessert right there.
Thanks again to Wonder from Potosi Brewing Company for joining Ben's Beer Fridge. I can't wait to get my hands on their special seasonal beers, and you already know, this time of year, you better keep that fridge stocked.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette Recap, I'm Ashton Rotman. After a tough first half, the Golden Eagles did everything they could to climb out of a 13-point hole on Saturday in Madison.
Back to Sean Jones. He'll penetrate. Floater from 10. Banked it up and in. Over crowd. Sean Jones. Yes,
we know one thing. He's got no fear.
That layup made it a one-point game, but a one-point game would be as close as the Golden Eagles would get. The Badgers hanging on and handing Marquette their second loss of the season, a 75-64 defeat. A home game against Texas is up next on Wednesday for Marquette.
Like you, Wisconsin is home for me. That's why I'm a big fan of Network Health, a health insurance company that's doing the right thing right here in Wisconsin. Network Health takes extra steps to make health insurance affordable and understandable so you can make the most of your coverage. And they always put in the extra effort. To learn more about Network Health's business, individual, or Medicare health plans, call Aaron Bulowski, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
The big guy needs some help this holiday season, so of course he's going to the Corners of Brookfield, just like you. Find something for everyone at the Corners. The 30-plus retailers and restaurants are sure to check off every wish on your lists, and the Corners has 15-minute parking for a quick in and out. But if there's a gift only Santa can deliver, head to the Market Square for a special North Pole mailbox. Letters are accepted until December 22nd. This season, the perfect gift is right around the Corners. Visit thecornersofbrookfield.com for more.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A couple years ago, my knee was acting up. As an athlete, I've played through pain before, but it was getting to the point where I couldn't compete in the sports I loved. I decided to check out Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's the best decision I've made. I felt no pressure to have surgery. That was important to me. We had choices. I ultimately did choose to have a procedure. I was in and out in just hours and back in action shortly after. I recommend meeting their doctors. Visit orthowisconsin.com today.
Victory Monday on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
No Monday has ever felt as good as this. Feels like a Friday on a Monday, and you should be enjoying it because the Green Bay Packers have their guy. And if you don't believe it, you got to tell me why, because you're just looking for every reason for him not. You have a vendetta at this point if you don't believe Jordan Love is the guy. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. Fun field trip today. Kyle Wallace back at the Gruber Law Office's one called That's All Studios at the Avenue. Chris Larson running the show. I see Alex Strofe here running the board in Madison. And, Kyle, I just think it's a day where I'm not even feeling stuff like this. I am, but I'm not, if that makes sense. Evil 04, SVT Cobra chimes in. Love was clutch. Impressed by how this team turned things around on offense. Love still underthrows the ball every ball 20 yards past the field. So, again, if you want to pick on something, go ahead. But I'd rather have a guy that has 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions his last 3 games that were nitpicking the underthrown balls. Sure, there's always going to be room for improvement. Nobody called him Patrick Mahomes. Nobody called him Aaron Rodgers. What we're calling him is the Green Bay Packers quarterback, and he is solidifying that week by week. Are there going to, if there wasn't things to work on for a first-year starter through 12 games, I think you should be concerned. It's okay. He's shown enough outside of that when he has protection, he can step up in the pocket. That was probably my most impressive throw yesterday. Was not even the throw aspect, but the second touchdown of the game, first to Christian Watson, not the one to the right, but across the middle. He stayed in the pocket with the gumption and made the throw.
And that's the most impressive. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of things to be impressed about, but his pocket presence and the way that he's been able to protect himself. He hasn't been getting sacked like that because of the fact that he's been able to avoid the rush. And yesterday against the blitz, he was 12 for 17 against the blitz with 100 yards passing yesterday and 3 touchdown passes. That means he's being able to avoid the blitz and make plays. He's not just avoiding the blitz and tucking it and running it. He's avoiding the blitz, keeping his eyes downfield, and allowing himself to make plays downfield. What we are seeing is a collection of games, a collection of work, a collection of things that we talked about we wanted to see, right? We wanted to see more on paper. And what we're seeing when it comes together is a culmination of this guy building into something special for the Green Bay Packers. He went against Pat Mahomes in Sunday Night Football, and he looked elite. He looked elite. This is not just by the chance this happened. No, he looked elite back-to-back weeks, and he did it in the biggest spotlight yesterday, Ben.
800-990-3776 if you want to call. If you want to text, well, it's done right now, which is okay, because you can go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and hit the comment section there. Now, Kyle, you said something that sparked my attention, and I pull up the NFC North standings. I see the Lions at 9-3, Vikings 6-6, Packers 6-6, and the team from the South, the Bears, 4-8. You do declare what?
I declare the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC North. It's not even a question for me, Ben. They are the best football team in the NFC North. Now, I understand because of the way that the season started, the Packers started off rocky, they may not win the NFC North. But what did we learn last year? Going into this season, we knew last year at the end of the season is that the Detroit Lions were probably, if not the best team. We know the Vikings might have had a better record, but going into this season, a lot of people projected and expected what team to win the NFC North.
That was the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings.
It was the Detroit Lions that you expected to probably be the best team in the NFC North this year, despite not winning the NFC North last year. When you look at the Green Bay Packers, they are one of the hottest teams in football right now. And I dare I say the hottest team in football, second to the San Francisco 49ers, because they have beaten two first-place teams over the last 2 weeks. And then on top of that, this team started 2-5. They're a complete mess. And since then, they have truly rebounded and found themselves. They are right now turning a corner, and they are clicking on all cylinders, not just offensively, but defensively. Yes, they gave up some yards on the ground yesterday, but the defense made stops when you needed it yesterday. On that last drive, they were able to stop Pat Mahomes. On the drive before that, what did they do? They forced a turnover on Pat Mahomes. That's what good defenses do. They bend, but they don't break. They step up in big-time situations. In back-to-back weeks, and really the last 4 to 5 games the Packers have played, the defense has stepped up and has not been a black eye for this team. And, Ben, the thing about it is this. It's the eye test, right? When you watch these two teams, when you watch the Lions of late, do the Lions look like this juggernaut team that they looked like in the first 4 weeks of the season, 5 weeks of the season?
So, if I may just push back for a little bit here.
Please
you know what the Lions' record is the last 4 games?
What are they, 2-2?
They're 3-1.
3-1.
So you're letting your eye test, in which they just barely beat the Chargers, and they had to sneak back against the Bears, and they just beat the Saints this past weekend. Their only loss was the Packers on Thanksgiving. Now, that's why I think you're just a little ahead of the skis here, because over 12 game sample size. They're 9-3, and they have the identity. The Packers aren't the best team in the NFC North.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I know you're basing that off of the fact that they've won the last 2 games. They can prove it the next 5 games, right? Like, if you have the schedule that the Packers have coming up, you play the Giants, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears. You have every opportunity to show that you're not going to get, again, I thought there'd be a letdown spot after they beat the Lions. Sunday Night Football stepped up. How does this team react now that they're hunted, right? They were hunting. Now they are the hunted. The teams that they're going to play have nothing to lose but spoil the Packers' playoff chances. Are they able to take the teams that they're going to play and take care of business when you're the hunted? Because that is a much different scenario. The Lions have been in that position all season long.
And that's what the games are played for. That's what I'm excited about. But with the Detroit Lions, yes, they have been the hunted, but the Packers barely beat the Chargers, and we didn't come away from that game, or a lot of people didn't come away saying, oh, well, this Packers team is great. People were still talking about the flaws, some of the negatives that they got from the game. Oh, well, the defense, they had those drop passes. And then the Chicago Bears. If the Packers beat the Chicago Bears 31-26 2 weeks ago, we'll be saying, boy, oh boy, they snuck out of that one. We wouldn't be talking as if it's crazy that another team in the division could be better than the Green Bay Packers if they barely beat a team like the Chargers. They barely beat a team like the Lions, and then they lost head-to-head to a team that's one of the hottest team in football. One of the hottest team in football is the Green Bay Packers. So I'm telling you, Ben, my eyes, what they're telling me from what I have seen. Yesterday, the Saints played the Lions. The Lions were up early against the Saints, and what they allowed the Saints to do, they allowed the Saints to come back into that game. They're not playing like a juggernaut football team. They're playing like a good football team that's going to make the playoffs. But the Packers, as we saw when these teams went head-to-head, when the Packers weren't just some kids trying to figure things out week 3 or week 4 of a football season, the Packers were the better football team. And that's why the Packers...
Well, then if that's the case, everything that the Packers should do if they are in this playoff hunt is do everything they can to avoid the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, here's the thing, Ben. When you think about it, if the Packers... The goal for the Packers should be what? They're not going to win the division because they just don't have enough games. They can't make up games to win the division.
It's still make the playoffs.
It's make the playoffs, Ben, but here's the thing. What seed do you want to get? You're not going to get the 5th seed. You want that 6th seed because matchup-wise, you feel more confident against playing the 49ers, the Eagles, or the Lions.
I mean, I'll take the Lions and Eagles all day long over the Niners.
But you'll take the Lions over you'll rather
Absolutely.
play the Lions. If the Packers had a first-round matchup against the Eagles or the 49ers, you'd be like, But they had
good season, great learning experience. Head on out to Philly, head on out to the Bay Area, and come right back home. But if you play the Lions...
That optimism against the Lions, you already went to Detroit.
I tell you what, Ford Field or whatever they call in Detroit would be full of Packer fans.
It will
be the
same
way it was in Lambeau Field.
It will have a lot of Packers fans. It will have optimism. It will have experience from this team, knowing that they went in there and they won on Thanksgiving Day as well. There will be a lot of confidence for the Green Bay Packers going into that game. And here's the bigger thing, and hopefully it plays out. I want it to play out just like this, and the Packers have games in front of them to get that 6th seed. I don't think they're going to get the 5th because the Cowboys, again, they have 9 wins, and it's just going to be too tough to catch them. But if you get the Lions in that first round, guess what, Ben? You have a team in the Lions. They don't have any playoff experience whatsoever. The Green Bay Packers might actually have more playoff. They do have more playoff experience on this team based off who they had before at their quarterback and what they did before.
Defense.
On defense. Yes,
defense.
But offensively, you're talking about Jared Goff has playoff experience, but the guys around him don't. And so that's what I'm saying. You're not really afraid of a team like the Detroit Lions because you're both brand new to this playoff thing with the weapons that you need on offense. And this is why I believe, again, the Green Bay Packers, if you look at the last 6 games, have been a better football team than the Detroit Lions. They have the better quarterback. They have a more consistent defense as well. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. The Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC North right now.
KBN Nation is a part of the show on Twitter at KBN ESPN. ESPN Kyle W. believes the Packers are the best team in the NFC North. Do you agree or disagree? 39% people agree, 61% disagree. And I think the big thing, Mike B chimes in and he says, yes, the Lions are on a slide. And that's where I'm getting at. The Lions sliding is winning 3 of their last 4.
But look if who they beat. But look who they lost to.
But look at their point differential compared to the Packers. And that's what people looked at when it was the Vikings last year in their record. Right now, as it stands, the Lions have 327 points for. The Packers have 258. So, again, that could. I'm willing to field the argument. Give me a second here. I'm willing to feel it. There's 5 more games for that to average out and to see where they go. But as of right now, I'm still taking the Lions. But here's what I take from this conversation. Jordan Love's the guy, and they're only in this conversation right now because of the way he has been a leader for this team.
He's the best quarterback in the division as well. You got the best quarterback. Your defense somehow looks like the best defense. Don't know how, but their defense is more consistent than the Lions' defense of late. You got the formula. You have the pieces to be called the best the best team in the NFC North.
800-990-3776. You can call us there. Text line's down, but that's okay because you can head to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee to get your comments on everything. Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. Deep breath. It was fun. I'm not going to lie, Kyle. We're going to get to this in a little bit, but it changed the way that I was watching the game. If you were donating, which you're not right now, and I'll get on you that for a little bit later, $100 for every Jordan Love touchdown pass or rush, would you be rooting for a lot of those or rooting against those? Because to me, I was like, run it up, baby. Run it up.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, you know how I feel about my money. And so I would be nervous, but I would because it's the Green Bay Packers and a good cause, I would be all for it. But it would be. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it funky and fresh. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm telling you, it would hurt, but it'd also be great at the same time. It'd be like, oh yeah, or like, oh okay, let maybe hand it off.
See, we got to change that because it's all great. It's all great.
It is, but I mean, it's great. But too many. I mean, everybody got a budget, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, 1,000 versus 2,000.
I'm not gonna lie. All right. If we're being transparent here, when I started this, I was right. $100, 6 games left, 2 touchdowns per game. That's about $1,200. Like, I mean, if they make the playoffs and he does 2 to 3 each game, we're looking at $1,500, $1,600. That's $1,700.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you budgeted for max. You budgeted for about $1,500. $1,500 was the max. You said you're expecting $1,200. Maybe you get a little bit lower. You want the Packers to win. You want touchdowns as well. But I'm telling you, he hit 20 touchdowns. You're gonna be like, dang.
Touchdownsforlove.com if you want to get involved. Again, Touchdowns for Love, all going to guarding against cancer. The celebration continues, folks. Jordan Love is the guy. I mean, he is. How do you walk away from Sunday night? He stole the show. He continues to show that he is the franchise quarterback. We'll react with you on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee or call us 800-990-3776. More Kyle, Brust, and Nortman next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
I've been wearing these tight-ass pants all day a little bit, and my drawers have not been comfortable at all in these pants today. And so I've just been so uncomfortable sitting in this seat. Y'all know when the stuff be riding up?
Oh, yeah.
So that's TMI.
I don't actually.
Oh, you don't wear drawers?
I do not wear underwear.
Oh, heck.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, my gosh. So you literally sit across from me just free balling every single day?
Every day.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Join Shaka Smart, Jen Lana, and special guest Oso Ighodaro on Thursday, December 7th from 6 to 7 p.m. for Marquette Thursdays at Motor Bar and Restaurant at the Harley-Davidson Museum.
There's no bigger rivalry game in the state of Wisconsin when it comes to basketball as Marquette and Wisconsin. And on Saturday, Wisconsin got ahead early for a 13-point first-half lead, but the Golden Eagles clawed their way back in the second half.
Inside, wide open is Mitchell. He lays it up and in, and Marquette is down one.
Unfortunately, though, 1 point would be the closest that Marquette would get as they fall 75-64 to Wisconsin. Both teams now 6-2 on the season. Marquette's back home on Wednesday night as they will take on Texas. That one a 7 o'clock tip-off at Fiserv Forum.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Motor Bar and Restaurant at the Harley-Davidson Museum is the home of Marquette Thursdays all season long.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta Restaurants. Purchase a gift card at Bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
So I have been in the operating room most of my career, watching people have orthopedic surgery, watching people get knees replaced, hips replaced, shoulders fixed, and I knew there had to be a better way.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain relief.
I see so many people who could have been helped before they got to the operating room if only they had known about regenerative medicine.
QC Kinetics, a natural alternative that uses your body's own healing properties to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing long-lasting relief without drugs, surgery, or downtime.
Well, it feels great when I do get to see somebody who we help, who I know I kept out of the operating room. It's amazing how we change people's lives without surgery.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and I have the perfect gift idea for you. A custom holiday gift box filled with all your Kringle favorites from Racine Danish Kringles. Or you could also try the new Holiday Stick Sampler Pack featuring Winter Wonderland, Mary Berry, Gingerbread, and Santa's Cinnaberry. It's stick size and a great way to try all the favorite flavors of the season. So go to Kringle.com to order or call them at 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an Old Fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon Old Fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's Old Fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to Perky'sSpirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We in the car, we ride slow, we doing things that the girls don't do. The boys
all right, so Jordan Love all day, all show long. Unless it's about Wade Miley. Now, I wasn't planning on going here, Kyle. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust. He's Kyle Wallace. Chris Larson running the show. I'm at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. He's at the One Call That's All Group Law Offices Studios at the Avenue. And this came across from Todd Rosiak. Wade Miley is going to be back with the Milwaukee Brewers on a one-year deal with a mutual option. He said his son Jeb told him he had to re-sign with the Brewers or retire. Miley also said that he and his wife are expecting another son coming February. For those who don't know, I am also expecting in February. I don't know boy or girl, but at this point, Wade Miley's name is in the running if it's a boy. I mean, he's been my favorite player since he played on the team in 2018. Another great year, and now I digress because the story is Jackson Churio, but for me, it's Wade Miley.
Okay, I like that. That's cool. I mean, I'm all excited for it as well. I guess.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I am. Here's the thing, Ben. You made it about you and your baby, which is cool. All right, cool. You know what I'm making it about? I'm making it about the fact that his son is more loyal to the Milwaukee Brewers than Craig Counsell fake ass. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I don't know how old that young man is, but that young man knows what loyalty is, and he has it in his DNA, and he told his papa, he said, listen, Daddy, this city of Milwaukee has not only been great to you, they have a whole show called KBN where Ben Brust, he says,
Wade Miley.
The fans love you. The organization loves you. And I love this city. You ain't going nowhere else. Either you're playing here or you're retiring. You know what he did? He did exactly what somebody who truly loves and appreciates the place. He stayed. He didn't sit here and run like old dusty Craig Counsell did. But that's what we should be talking about. That's the headline. Wade Miley chooses to stay in a place that he truly loves. We may not win a World Series next year, but Wade said he's going to be his darndest and he's going to work his hardest to try to bring one here. He doesn't run from a challenge like others.
Gosh.
What's his name?
Wade Miley. I don't think you could have done that any better, Kyle. That was very well done. I'm watching you. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm watching you, and I saw you looking down. I was like, is he paying attention? And then you came out of left field and said the damn truth, that he is more loyal to this city than Craig Counsell. Right now, let's do the KBN Academy.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, you really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
It is the KBN Academy, where Professor Wallace graduated from Central Michigan University with a master's degree. I only have a bachelor's degree. We are only allowed to give A's or F's to these questions. There's no B's, C's, or D's, or anywhere else in between, which means we have to go back to the Green Bay Packers, because yesterday night is worth talking about all day long. And so when it comes to Jordan Love and Patrick Mahomes, they matched each other drive for drive. I don't like this phrasing, Chris Larson. They did not. Jordan Love outplayed Patrick Mahomes. But A or F, Love is currently a top 5 QB. I'll take it next level, Kyle, because we said in the NFC, but he is a top 5 QB in the NFL right now.
Okay, now listen, I am a big fan of Jordan Love, and I'm high on Jordan Love, but to say he's a top 5 quarterback in NFL, I think that'd be kind of over the top. There are other quarterbacks that are clearly better than Jordan Love, but the fact that Jordan Love is now going to be a part of that conversation, well, people actually are asking this question, is Jordan Love top 5? He's not top 5 right now, but again, when we talk about who the future of the NFL is it going to be Tua? Is it going to be Herbert? Is it going to be Jalen? Is it going to be Jordan Love? He is now part of that conversation with Joe Burrow, and he went toe-to-toe, head-to-head with Pat Mahomes, the best QB in the NFL, and he won that battle not only on the scoreboard, but also in the stat line. So he may not be top 5 now, but right now, we can be happy about the way he's trending of him potentially being in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's an F, but I think the cool thing about this conversation is when we go through the salaries of the annual average salary, that is, of the quarterbacks, the top paid quarterbacks are all from Jordan Love's draft. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert. Tua will get a bag based off how he's played this year. I know he's got weapons, but you get my point. Jordan Love playing right now at this time is the best thing he could have done for himself and his financial future. We laughed at Mark Tauscher. We did the Yodely game. Tell us when to stop when you think Jordan Love's average annual salary will be X. Tauscher said 50. We all laughed. Taustradamus strikes again. Matty LaFleur and the Packers.
Did you almost call him Matty Mouse?
Did the mouse
almost come out?
I don't have the printed paper, so I'm tabbing back and forth on my computer. Give me a break here. The Packers hold the 7th and final playoff spot in the NFC. Maybe I almost did. It's been a habit for a little bit. However, Matt LaFleur isn't talking playoffs. ARF, you like them not talking about the playoffs.
I'm actually A here. I'm good with them not talking playoffs because here's the thing. While we sit here and we get all high based off a win and low based off a loss and we attack them for the inconsistencies that we have seen throughout the year, Matt LaFleur is trying to stay consistent with the messaging that he has for his team. And is taking it week by week, day by day, game by game, trying to get better, trying to improve, trying to be able to open up the playbook, trusting these guys, improving on route running, improving on getting open, improving on knowing the playbook, improving on consistency. And so at the end of the day, if the Packers take care of business the way that Matt LaFleur wants them to, everything else will play out the way it's supposed to, which equals being in the playoffs. And so that's why I say that's an absolute F, because he knows the prizes in the Super Bowl title. He knows about this guys getting better each and every week. And when they play to their potential, they are a playoff football team, and they have proven that.
Yeah, this is tough. I feel like if you're not talking about it, you're hiding from it, and the only reason why I would be okay with it is because they're so young, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know, and so if you just keep this team on the path of we're not talking playoffs, we're just trying to get better each week and prepare for the opponent. Next game, play by play. I think that's probably the right approach. But if they had already been to the playoffs and they had a bad showing, and they could be like, we need to build to do better than what we did last year in the playoffs, then I think talking about the playoffs makes sense. Based off the youth of this team, based off of the fact that you don't want to get too high and let your guard down because you already have a 5-game look-ahead spot because you're looking at teams with no one with a record over 500. I'm with you. I think it's an F. I think it's a good thing that he's not talking about the playoffs with this team.
And Ben, this team has honestly, they've proven nothing over an extended period of time. Right now, they have this short spurt of games that they have excelled and played very well.
And but it was against their best opponents, though.
It sure was, but here's the thing. It's a 17-game football season, and as you just said, the focus needs to be on executing in all 17 games. The last thing you want to do is start thinking your stuff don't stink, and you go into New York and you lay a dang egg, and then all of a sudden you're questioning yourselves. And so this is why it's so focused that you take it week by week and game by game and keep on the same message that you started the season with.
Gosh, I have so many ideas in my head right now. I just
write them down.
Part of me is just like, New York? You think number 10 is going to go in to New York and lay an egg?
Wait, number 10? That's what you're saying now? You're saying like he's 12.
He's playing like a number. He's playing like he's earned to be called his number. Is he not?
I mean, watching the game yesterday, any Packers fan that was watching that game last night, and again, it was on Sunday night, so a lot of people were watching it, and on top of that, you had the enhancement with Taylor Swift. They came away saying, dang, that kid out there, he reminds me of Aaron Rodgers, or man, oh man, he looks good. And so, you know what, Ben? Go ahead and say 10, number 10, whatever you want to say, because when you say 10, everybody knows who you're talking about.
He is building his brand day by day. That's it for the KBN Academy. Again, text line down, which is okay because you can go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and get involved there. Bill chimes in, hey guys, who are we keeping on the roster when Aaron Jones comes back? Patrick Taylor or James Robinson? Don't matter because we'll have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And I think Patrick Taylor, if I'm being honest, he looks like he plays the part a little bit more. Coming up next, Craig Karmazin, CEO of Good Karma Brands. You can hear him with our guy, Kyle Wallace, on Sunday Karma from 10 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin on Sundays. He did something amazing, which means Kyle's bottom is going to be in the bottom of Lake Michigan in January if these Packers make the playoffs. We'll hear from Craig Karmazin and what he had to say on the show yesterday, coming up next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
Kyle wants me to feel what he's feeling. Let me feel what I feel. Let me go through my process the way I go through my process. You're a bully. You're a Jordan Love bully.
You move too slow for me, okay? You're moving way too slow. We've seen what we need to see.
Then get the ring out for your real girlfriend.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
Yeah, PTSD. We all have it. Not Joshy, because you're too young.
Joshy, do you have PTSD for anything?
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
Not really. I mean, when I was robbed at gunpoint, that feels like PTSD.
When did this happen?
I feel like he's got us there,
Another story?
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Ho, ho, ho! I need a window.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So where do I go? Ho, ho.
Come on, Santa. Go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is the time to replace your leaky windows and doors. You and Mrs. Claus can get your new windows while putting no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. Unwrap this gift now, but pay for it later.
More jingle that stays in my pocket.
That's right, Santa. Plus, our elves install year-round and in as little as 1 day. Pella offers lines in luxurious wood to fiberglass and vinyl.
Why not make a New Year's resolution today?
That's the spirit, Santa.
Pella now, pay later. Oh.
Absolutely. Put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. But you have to hurry. Offer ends December 31st. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 12/31/2023.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit ZBart.com for more information.
And maybe one of the first true statement games of Jordan Love's career as the true number one quarterback for the Packers. He throws for 267 yards and 3 touchdown passes as the Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home 27-19 on Sunday Night Football. After the game, Jordan Love saying he's not putting a limit on the Packers, what they can do.
I really think we're just getting better and better every week. Everyone's getting more comfortable, like literally just executing better and starting fast. I mean, I think this is a really good team.
Packers back to 500 at 6-6.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin sports fans ask for? As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows that it takes a team effort to make things happen. And when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team you're looking for. Good luck to all Wisconsin teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrands.com. That's evanstrands.com. The big guy needs some help this holiday season, so of course he's going to the Corners of Brookfield, just like you. Find something for everyone at the Corners. The 30-plus retailers and restaurants are sure to check off every wish on your lists, and the Corners has 15-minute parking for a quick in and out. But if there's a gift only Santa can deliver, head to the Market Square for a special North Pole mailbox. Letters are accepted until December 22nd. This season, the perfect gift is right around the Corners. Visit thecornersofbrookfield.com for more.
Victory Monday on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
I get it down on the dance floor. Watch this. Hey! You don't even know, girl.
Number 10 is the guy. Alex Strofe is in the jersey right now. You had it at the start of the season, just head nod, right? He sure did. Kyle Wallace, Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Chris Larson running the show. Yesterday, before Green Bay Game Day pregame show started, you had a chance to listen to Sunday Karma, and if you didn't, it was a great show as always. Check it out, Wisconsin On Demand. But it was mostly great, personally, if I'm going to be a little selfish for a second. It's not selfish because it's all going to a great cause. I want to see Kyle Wallace jump in Lake Michigan if the Packers make the playoffs. And the only reason he's going to do that is if we raise some money to get him in there. And so here's what Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma with Kyle Wallace said yesterday about raising money for Jordan Love touchdowns going to Guarding Against Cancer.
You're going $100 per touchdown, Ben, and all these people are matching it.
Season.
All
correct.
Yeah, and so realistically, we're saying 12. Now, Kyle, this is for you. So I will match at 5x.
5x.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You mean like 5 times?
Yeah. So I'll go 500 per touchdown.
Whoa.
But
holy cow!
If Kyle jumps, I'll go 10x.
There it is. I thought we were going to maybe get the reaction of me saying, Kyle, I don't care how cold you're going to be in Lake Michigan. You're jumping in for 10x to going to Guarding Against Cancer.
There's a lot of talking going on at that time when you were trying to force me to jump into the water because of that. Now, I mean, Craig is a big baller. I can't say no, right, Ben? If somebody is offering to give $1,000 for every touchdown, 10 throws, or runs for the rest of the season, and it all goes towards a tremendous cause, I just have to man up, get me a wetsuit, train my body, and get my behind in that water, right? That's what I got to do.
On YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, since Kyle is likely going to be jumping in Lake Michigan, please, in the comments, give your training suggestions. If you have any experience with that, because he's going to be a big baby about it, and I'm willing to put up with it because of the great things that are going on. Jordan Love throwing 3 touchdowns yesterday, which was 3,000 from himself, Craig Karmazin. Now, with all the pledges that have gone on, it was actually ended up, we have $1,900 right now per touchdown going to GAC, which was $5,700 just from yesterday.
You need a better strategy for trying to motivate people. Calling somebody a big baby after they committed. Listen, if it wasn't for me, Craig wouldn't be putting $1,000 in. If it was not for the fact that I was apprehensive about doing this, and Craig saying he's going to put money in for a great cause, you should be applauding me for saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell KBN Nation to do it, because the more people that get into it, the more money the more energy that we put inside the universe for Jordan Love to continue to ball out, the more money we raise for cancer research. So you should be thanking me.
Oh, geez.
For this. So
thank you, Kyle.
Yes.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you. You're welcome. And so I will take suggestions for what I need to do to prepare for this, and I'm actually very excited knowing again that Craig is going to be giving $1,000 per, and I know we're going to raise over $10,000 for a great cause because of the arm and legs of Jordan Love. I'm just going to get cold.
We're going way past that. We're $1,900 per touchdown right now, and he had 3 yesterday, so that's $5,700. If he keeps on that pace, that's going to be a lot of money. Now, Rudy from Sheboygan, Rudy chimes in and says, Kyle, I'll jump in with you so you're not doing it alone.
Rudy, let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
So, again, Packers make the playoffs. We're all jumping in Lake Michigan. But if you want to get involved with the cause to Guarding Against Cancer, please go to touchdownsforlove.com. That's touchdownsfor love.com.
Ben, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So when you jump in, because the Packers are making the playoffs, when you jump in, are you jumping in are you throwing in head first? Or what is your strategy that you're doing? Because I told you I wanted to protect a couple things. I want to protect my babies, and you know what I mean by my babies. I just want to make sure that I'm all good with that. So what's your strategy that you have as we jump in?
Not be a baby and just jump right in?
Okay, all right. Well,
how's that for a strategy?
Doesn't sound like you have much of a strategy there, but you know what? Hey, we're going to figure out a strategy when we're jumping into Lake Michigan. I cannot wait until that day in January comes.
Well, again, 66% chance right now. Things are very much looking in the right direction. And every game moving forward in Green Bay is a must-watch game, which is why you need to get to and from every home game in Green Bay, courtesy of Milwaukee Broadhouse, Jack's American Pub, or Wanakee Golf Course. They all offer transportation. I've done this twice, and it's been amazing. December 17th has room, so book your round-trip ride, and you get a bus service with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. You know, yesterday felt like a party, and if you party it up at the game, well, party it up on the way and on the way back, or sleep or hydrate. You don't have to worry about driving, getting stuck in traffic. It's all taken care of with an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar at Holmgren Way. So make your game day experience a VIP one. Visit golfwanakee.com or milwaukeebroadhouse.com and book your trip up for the December 17th game. Use code ESPN23 for 10% off your total purchase. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Our guys from Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, they're starting to feel the love too.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Ashton Rotman. After falling behind by 13 at the half on Saturday against the Badgers, Marquette put on their rally caps to start the second half thanks to Stevie Mitchell.
Joplin inside, wide open is Mitchell. He lays it up and in, and Marquette is down one.
Unfortunately, that 1-point deficit would be as close as the Golden Eagles would get. The Badgers hang on and hand Marquette their second loss of the season. It's a 75-64 final in Madison. Next up for Marquette, it's Texas against Marquette at Fiserv Forum on Wednesday night.
For insurance made simple, look no further than Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. If you want benefits that encourage regular preventative care, savings when you need more than a checkup, quick service, and access to the largest provider networks, who can you rely on? There's one simple answer. Definitely Delta Dental and Delta Vision. Call Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and I have the perfect gift idea for you. A custom holiday gift box filled with all your Kringle favorites from Racine Danish Kringles. Or you could also try the new Holiday Stick Sampler Pack featuring Winter Wonderland, Mary Berry, Gingerbread, and Santa's Cinnaberry. It's stick size and a great way to try all the favorite flavors of the season. So go to Kringle.com to order or call them at 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
If you weren't here the first hour, I'm glad you're here for the next hour, because it's all love all the time, because that is what has mattered for this 2023 season. We can talk playoffs, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. But when you go into the season and the main goal is the evaluation of Jordan Love, and on back-to-back primetime games, he's the story. He's 8 interceptions, 0 touchdowns the last 3 games. They've won 4 of their last 5. You got to talk about the love. And I'm Ben Brust alongside Kyle Wallace, who's also feeling the love at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue. And it's just something that needs to be celebrated. You don't have to dance around it. You don't have to wish and worry. You have a clear, definitive answer. And if you don't, I really do believe that you are just trying to poke holes and find reasons why Jordan Love isn't the answer. And a lot of this has to do with the decision to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And earlier this morning on ESPN Radio, Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman, they were talking to former Packer and NFL Hall of Famer Leroy Butler. Here's what he had to say.
I got to ask, are the Green Bay Packers better off right now than they would have been with Aaron Rodgers?
Yes. Real quick. Here's why. It's a group. It's a band. It's not a solo act. It's a band. Everybody get paid the same here. And when the coach tell me to run 3-jet all-go special, I'm going to run that because he puts in 19 hours a day. I don't. And then, I don't know about Chris, but I used to put in 2 or 3 and go home. Mm-hmm. I say, I used to drive by, who's lights still up? Oh, them the coaches. I love and respect my coaches.
That Leroy Butler on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. It's a band, not a solo act. And, that's, as Torilo would say, powerful. Powerful.
Very powerful.
Powerful. Coming from Leroy, someone who's bled green and gold, and to talk about that, look.
And a Hall of Famer.
Yes, I mentioned that. I still really do want to see Aaron Rodgers play football. I think he's better for the NFL when he's out there. He creates storylines. It'll be fun to track if he gets close to AFC Championship game or if he does the exact same thing that he's done with the Green Bay Packers, right? Like, it's going to be fun. But that's not a story here anymore. What the story is now is you have every reason why Jordan Love wouldn't have been successful this year. First-year starter, youngest wide receiver in tight end group, no Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari hurt, right? Like, you have everything working against you. But it seems as if when you hear A.J. Dillon talk about Jordan Love and how he's a leader of men, to me, that is where I'm like, all right, he's talking about him as if he is a veteran and a leader, someone who's not playing like a first-year starter, who's bought into Matt LaFleur. We're seeing, if we're being honest here, Matt LaFleur wanted to put the rest, it was Aaron Rodgers' hybrid offense of Matt LaFleur's offense. Matt LaFleur would be like, no, it wasn't. But for damn sure it was. Aaron Rodgers was not running the Matt LaFleur offense, Kyle. We are watching the Matt LaFleur offense. Because they are bought in.
They are bought in, and Leroy is completely right. You are correct as well. And the thing is, when you're looking over your shoulder, right, and when you're overthinking about something, when you're nervous about making a mistake, that's when you stunt your growth. And that is the issue that the Green Bay Packers had at the wide receiver position, or really just in general on the offense, is that you had the boogeyman, you had the guy, you had the tyrant, the guy who was experienced and earned every right to be the guy that he was and the disciplinarian that he was, the guy that had high expectations on wanting you to be great in Aaron Rodgers because of his game, of how well he played on Sundays, on Mondays, on Thursdays, on Saturdays when they had game. He earned the right to be able to be the guy to chirp and yell at people. But the problem is when you have that mentality of, listen, I say do this, you do it this way, I know more than you do, it creates division and it creates a toxic work environment.
Who do I listen to? What do I do?
Well, but even the thing is you're afraid to make a mistake. And what you saw in this season, you saw guys making mistakes over and over and over. And there was a play last night, and I'm trying to remember, I think it was Malik Heath. Malik Heath might have dropped the pass on a drive.
I thought he was never going to see a ball again.
And immediately, I believe, next 2 passes later, Malik Heath got the ball again and made a play. With Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, that guy might be on the sideline. But with Jordan Love he's a young quarterback, but with him in the game, everybody's on that equal playing field. Everybody's learning together. You don't have anyone stunting the growth of these young players. And this is not to take away from the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. But for this team, for the direction the Green Bay Packers wanted to take this team for the next 10 years, you had to go with a younger quarterback who was going to grow with this team and not try to just grow the players and act like he knew everything. And again, Aaron Rodgers knows a lot, but he was not the quarterback for this team. Jordan Love was the quarterback for this team. And kudos to Matt LaFleur for being able to coach the best out of these players and getting the best out of Jordan Love as well.
Now, I'm not going full apology because I do believe, as we will talk through this about Goody, that he still made mistakes, but I know it was to a place where it got to a unhealthy relationship where there was no way Aaron Rodgers and Goody were going to be able to work in the same environment. But because it got to that point, Goody made a trade. I mean, Goody pulled the trigger, and Aaron Rodgers is no longer a part of this organization. So that takes balls to say, hey, I'm going to trade away a guy who has won 4 MVPs, who has been with us since being the starter 2008. Think about that. 2008, Aaron Rodgers becomes the guy, and you have to be the one to let him go. And it ends up looking really good for you. That's a tough decision to make for someone who's taken you to back-to-back number 1 seeds and then has one down year, and you say, see you later.
Yeah, it's a very tough decision, but that's why he has to make those type of choices. And again, it doesn't take away, it doesn't absolve him from some of the poor decisions that he made. But at the end of the day, he made a correct decision with moving on from Aaron Rodgers before it was too late. And with Aaron Rodgers being hurt, and with the mess that the New York Jets are currently in right now, he made the correct decision. Who's to say that if Aaron Rodgers came back, he wouldn't be in the same situation with the same injury with the Green Bay Packers as well? And so, again, you got the most.
Yeah, and Love could have been gone.
Yeah, and so you got the most for Aaron Rodgers that you could potentially get, and it's working out for you right now, and the team's going in the direction that you hoped it would go. And so bravo, congrats to the Green Bay Packers organization for being able to have this plan and see it through and have it be successful as well. So as a Packers fan, that's why I get paid to do what I do, and that's why they get paid to do what they do, despite the fact that there are some poor decisions that they have made. And here's the thing, and the whole crazy thing about this is that Aaron Rodgers was, and I don't care what anybody says, he was creating a toxic work environment for a lot of those young players in the locker room, the same way that he felt like Goody was creating a toxic work environment. And that's the worst thing. That's the last thing you ever want, is a disgruntled employee to be disgruntled with somebody and then take it out on those around him. That does not cultivate the type of culture that you need to be successful. And Aaron Rodgers had run his course in his time with the Green Bay Packers. Goody won.
The one thing I will push back on is the way Aaron was able to develop some of those 2nd, 3rd, 4th round draft picks, because they never did take a wide receiver in the 1st round under his tenure at quarterback, is the way he typically, again, I understand the frustration of coming back from a number 1 seed in 2022 and then again just being like, Devontae, you're leaving me with Watson and Dobbs, is like, I would be frustrated too. That's a group of young guys when you're trying to ascend later in your career. But at the same time, like he had said, he didn't treat them the same way it felt like that he treated other young wide receivers to grow with, because he didn't have time to grow anymore because he's getting too damn old. And that showed trying to avoid pressure in the Jets game with that poor offensive line. 800-990-3776 if you want to call. Text line down, which is okay, which is why you can go to YouTube.
Love
at
the YouTube,
ESPN
baby.
Milwaukee.
Love the YouTube.
Kyle's firing off takes left and right there. His last was my balls may freeze and fall off. That's in reference to
okay, all right now.
That's in reference to jumping in Lake Michigan if the Packers make the playoffs. Josh chimes in with a serious question. He says, does Love playing this well change anyone's opinions of Rodgers leaving and how he left? In my mind, if he hadn't demanded out, Love would have gone and we'd be in I think he's going to try and say something, so I'll say pickle. And that's the thing that, Kyle, you alluded to, right? Jordan Love made it very clear that he couldn't learn any more from the sideline. And so the boiling up of Goody and Rodgers, I'm not going to call either of those two geniuses enough to say they perfectly timed this so Aaron could get out and Goody could get his guy in, because they were too hard-headed throughout the situation. But it was perfect in the timing of when he did get rid of Aaron. It allowed Jordan to step in at the perfect time with a young team, because he is young, but also 3 years older than a lot of these guys because he's been with the team. So he can relate to them, but he also had the knowledge of the system and what Matt LaFleur wanted, so they all can sing Kumbaya together.
Ben, the biggest thing you're saying is this. He was coachable. He was coachable, and that's what it comes down to. You need somebody that's coachable in there that also can be a leader and doesn't act like they know everything, and that's what Jordan Love was. Jordan Love was a better solution for this current football team. This team, listen, last year, the Green Bay Packers missed the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. And this year, the Packers are trending in a direction where they may make the playoffs. I would already say this year has been more impressive than last season with the team that the Green Bay Packers have. I don't remember the Packers having back-to-back games where they knocked off a first-place team in the Chiefs and a first-place team in the Lions in back-to-back weeks last year. This is an impressive run that this team has, and it's all because of love. It's because of who Jordan is as a leader, who he is as a football player as well, that is helping propel what we are seeing on the football field.
I mean, it's confidence, it's poise, it's leadership. Those are things that you can't create. You either have that in your DNA as a quarterback or you don't. And it seems like since day one, Matt LaFleur has talked about the poise. He's the same guy. And if you're the same guy and you can't get guys to rally around you, that's a bad thing. But to be that same guy, that leader that everyone points to in a positive way, is exactly what you look for in a quarterback. Now, Cameron chimes in, if the Packers do make the playoffs, which we are under the assumption that we are working towards that, is this going to be a weekday or weekend jump in for the Lake Michigan Green Bay playoff plunge? Kyle, I think I would love to do it on a weekend.
We can do it on a weekend. To get more participation, because I want to get as many people in KBN Nation to join in the celebration, because that's what this is. This has become a celebration of the
It's like a baptism.
It is a baptism. It's a rebirth of the Green Bay Packers franchise. We were afraid that this franchise might go through a couple rough years, but it's a rebirth of the Green Bay Packers franchise. It is for a great cause. We should definitely do this on a weekend where everybody has free time and can participate in this amazing opportunity of jumping into the lake and starting off the 2024 year with hopefully a Packers playoff win, but getting ready for the playoffs that the Packers have.
800-990-3776. You can call us or you can go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee for the comments. Text line down, and that's okay, because, again, it's time to cheers to and pour one out like we do every Monday. So you can leave your comments. Who would you like to cheers to? And is there anyone you would like to pour one out for? Mine, I'll give you a little hint. They were top 5 in the AP poll. Coming up next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
Teammates that I have, they sat there and they're like, oh, that's a nice shirt. And one of the people said, but Kyle, why don't you wear undershirts? I can see your nipples. And I said, you need to stop looking at my nipples, because that's an HR issue.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We do still have some delays sticking around on 43 southbound from Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive. Northbound side's eased up nicely. The only other heavy spot's going to be on eastbound 94 from just before Hawley Road through the Stadium interchange, and then back on the brakes right out of the Marquette onto 794 eastbound. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, partly sunny with a high of 40. Tonight, chance of snow, a low of 32. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
Andy Reid's a dog? No,
Andy Reid's not a dog.
It does not have to be
Come on. He's like a St. Bernard.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
It doesn't have to be hulking. It's an attitude.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Created diamond prices
and natural diamond prices
are the lowest you will see in your lifetime. A temporary oversupply of diamonds worldwide has created a fabulous opportunity for you to own a much bigger diamond.
Natural diamonds were born in the earth when the world was new.
Created diamonds were born in a plasma chamber when your love was new. Plasma chambers are fascinating.
Plasma is not a solid, a liquid, or a gas.
Plasma is the rarest substance on Earth, but the most abundant substance substance in outer space.
The northern lights and a bolt of lightning are the only naturally occurring plasma on Earth.
But in outer space, the stars are all made of plasma.
Natural diamonds were born in the earth.
Created diamonds were born in a star.
Diamond prices will never be lower.
If owning a big diamond is on your bucket list,
This is your year for that dream to come true.
You're going to be happy, happy, happy.
Find the Kesslers nearest you
and see our extended holiday hours
at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel, stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at lowtusa.com.
Circus Sports is now available at American Place. Bet on your favorite Milwaukee and Wisconsin teams, from Wisconsin football and basketball to all the Milwaukee basketball action, as well as more games nationwide. The Circus Sportsbook at American Place has 36 TVs, so you won't miss any of the action. And it's just 30 minutes from Kenosha and 45 minutes from Racine. For more information and to find out about their events, go to circusports.com. All Circus Sports bets must be placed in Illinois. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text GAMB to 833-234.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Victory Monday on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Songs. Here we are.
This is the suburban white people song.
Wedding songs.
Really? So I went to I don't like to say it like that, but I went to a white wedding this summer, and they did not play this song. It would have been. We didn't. They polkaed while I watched, but I would have been so happy to hear "Best of My Love." I love this song. I gotta go to more white weddings. Hey.
Kyle Wallace at the wedding doing the Cotton Eye Joe.
I don't know what that is, but if it got something to do with Jordan Love throwing touchdown passes, I'd do it.
He's Kyle Wallace. I'm Ben Brust. It's Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. Every Monday, we have to celebrate. And what we celebrate is what we also pour one out to. Cheers to and pour one out.
The weekend is over, so let's pop some bottles. It's time for Cheers to and Pour One Out on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
All right, Kyle, floor is yours for the cheersing.
Listen, we talked about love all day, but you know what I'm going to cheers to? I'm going to cheers to Matt LaFleur. I'm going to cheers to Matt LaFleur because he has turned this team around, and he deserves the credit for it. He stayed steady. I was going to say right the ship. He didn't right the ship. He stayed steady. He rode the waves. They went up, they went down, and a lot of downs, but now when we're riding high, he stayed consistent in who he was, and he has this team playing. We're not worried about who we don't have. We're playing with what we do have, and we're playing with a lot of confidence. So I'm going to cheers to Matt LaFleur in leading these Green Bay Packers to consecutive victories against first-place teams in the division.
I'll cheers to, thanks to Rudy from Sheboygan, I'm going to call him out. I'm going to cheers to Aaron Rodgers, and here's why. It's going to be shocking. It's not Aaron Rodgers. But, Kyle, whose idea was it to bring one Tom Clements back to the Green Bay Packers?
Okay.
The very one who helped develop Brett Favre, the very one who helped develop Aaron Rodgers, is now helping another young quarterback with the fundamentals, with the quick dropbacks, with the delivery of the ball that's gotten better throughout the season. Cheers to Aaron Rodgers for bringing back Tom Clements, the best thing he's done for the Green Bay Packers in the last 2 years.
Actually, the best decision he's made as a general manager, Aaron Rodgers, ever, is hiring that coach. He brought the wrong coach to New York.
Chris, I didn't tell you to prepare, but if you got one, cheers too. Strofe!
Benny!
What up?
How you doing, bro?
Chris Larson, I can't see him, so he could be on the phone, he could be taking a tinkle. You got a cheers too?
Yeah, I got a cheers too.
All right, here, hit me.
I want to throw it back to the final segment, Kyle Wallace, of Green Bay Game Day last night, as we were watching the NBC,
yes, that's right.
the NBC crew on the Celebrations Entertainment TV in the backyard of the Tundra Trio.
10.
All 10 of them picked the Chiefs, and I said on Green Bay Game Day, that's bad juju. The Packers are going to win this game. So I'm cheersing to the entire NBC crew for being idiots and myself for being a genius.
Wouldn't that be a better pour one out to those idiots who got it wrong?
No, they jinxed it in a good way. They jinxed it in my favor.
I guess they could fit for either one, to be honest.
Very self-serving, Strophy. Very self-serving to let everybody know that,
I'm a genius.
That going into the game, you were very down on the Green Bay Packers. And the only reason, through all your analysis and all the watching, you decided to switch because everybody else said one thing. You decided to go in a different direction. You want kudos for basically going against the
Kyle,
game.
This is like the Ben Brust school of thought.
No. Time out. 30. Bring it in. This is the epitome of Jesse Nelson's school of producing. I bring in Alex Stroh for cheers to, says nothing other than bringing it back to him and his prediction on his show.
Okay, pop me kettle, first off.
Agree? But Jesse Nelson's even more king than me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I was getting at.
I agree with that.
Pour one out. Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to pour one out here. I'm going to pour it out to the Marquette Golden Eagles. Were you going to do that one, Ben?
In a different way.
Okay, well, I'm going to pour one out to the Marquette Golden Eagles because, boy, oh, boy, I feel bad for y'all. You know what I'm saying? You guys, I was on the bandwagon. I was excited about what this season could be, which it still could be good. I was still riding with the Wisconsin Badgers, but, boy, it had to be rough. So pour one out for the Marquette Golden Eagles for losing in the fashion that they did at Wisconsin on Saturday.
Yeah, I did get a tweet out. I had said, remember when being top 5 in December mattered? And it's basically November, if we're being honest. And, I'm going to pour one out to Brian D., our program director, because, man, he's a Bills fan. He's been riding the roller coaster of that. He is the largest Marquette basketball fan in the entire world. And any time we would just make a funny comment or a jab, he would get all frustrated and said, "You'll see," or "Can't wait for the Badgers game," and this, that. Hearing the optimism and seeing it seep out of him like a Bears fan watching Sunday Night Football as Jordan Love slings the pill is just amazing.
You know what was funny about this? Is the fact that I accidentally sent a text message on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, you trolled him.
And I didn't even troll him. I was just checking on him. I was for real just
when you check on somebody like that, you're trolling.
No, I for real. I wanted to make sure he was good.
Did he respond?
No, radio silence. Silence.
I haven't heard from him since Saturday when we did Saturday tip-off at the Echo Town.
Listen,
is he at work?
He came to work, but he hasn't said a word about that game. He hasn't said a word about Marquette since then. I'm going to leave him alone.
Classic chirper when things are good, hider when things are bad.
He has disappeared.
Let's go back to Strofe.
Sure, let's pour one out for the Badgers wide receiver room, the football team. The wide receiver coach, Mike Brown, gets hired by Notre Dame. Today the transfer portal opens. Say goodbye, adios, and farewell to Chimere Dike, Skylar Bell, and Keontez Lewis, all filing paperwork to leave the university. Well, he was already gone. Yes, but he filed the paperwork today. So
as long as we got Will Pauling, that's all I care about.
I agree.
Stud muffin.
Can we pour one out to Wisconsin having to play LSU?
Oh, yeah, Jaden Daniels, if he plays, dude, that's going to get ugly.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw they were going to Tampa. I was like, nice ball
Sounds like fun, yeah.
Nope.
Going to be like a 27-point ball game.
Oh, don't say that. No, it's not. No, it's not. I might go down.
Tell your cousin to bring the heat, all right?
Well, they stopped Jaden Daniels years ago. They're going to do it again down in Tampa. How about that?
One of my favorite memories of Wisconsin playing LSU was being up at Lambeau Field. That was an amazing, electric atmosphere. And, Kyle, were you at the game yesterday?
The Packer game?
Yeah.
I was outside. I wasn't inside.
Oh, man. I mean, if you were at the Packer game on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if NBC put the mics up, but it felt like it was the most electric environment I have heard from a Wisconsin sports team in a long time. Obviously, the Badger football games have been odd. Badger basketball have been very critical of in terms of the way the arena's set up and the students. It felt as if it was roaring last night.
I talked to Steve Scafidi, who was a season ticket holder. Steve Scafidi from Wisconsin, WTMJ Now. You can hear that on WTMJ, 620 WTMJ, 9 to noon every single day. And he told me it was one of the best crowds, if not the best atmosphere he has ever been at. He's been going to games for 30-plus years, and he said that was one of the best, if not the best atmosphere he has ever experienced at Lambeau.
Well, the good news is, if you listen to Green Bay Game Day pregame show, you heard Strofe and Kyle. And if you listen to the postgame show, then you're going to hear the dog of the game, which I can't wait to hear who it was from our guys, Homer, Gabe Neitzel, and Tausch. I mean, it should just be Jordan Love. Jordan Love was the dog of the game. And if you dogs don't listen to you and you ask yourself, well, why aren't they not listening to me? You have Sit Mean Sit dog training so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog. Contact Sit Mean Sit dog training in Milwaukee or Waukesha to schedule a free consultation. That's sitmeansit.com. Jason Wilde, Packers reporter. I'm not going to let him temper no expectations or bring us down today, Kyle.
No,
we keep the party going with J Love next and Jason Wilde.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
I've got shirts, same thing, that like they're either too tight and I'd love to wear them, or they're white. And it's just there's not enough material to look through. And it's a bit of it's not a huge factor, but it's enough of a factor to give me pause sometimes.
I'll be damned if I'm going to keep my nipples from letting me be free.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Delays continue on southbound 43 from Silver Spring all the way down to Locust. Northbound side starting to get into the act, a little bit slow from North Avenue up to Keefe. And then southbound on 41 backing up from Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, light snow or a mix, less than an inch of accumulation, a low of 33. Tomorrow, rain or snow early and cloudy with a high of 40. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Play Whistling Straits and other Pro Tour courses, whatever the weather is, in one of their 12 state-of-the-art simulators.
Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
Everybody's buzzing about Quick Trip's possibly pilfered potatoes. We have them priced so low, some say they're illegal. Swipe potato fries? Potatoes ill-gotten? Stash browns? Come on, these are not hot potatoes. But it is a quick hot savings. You might say it's a steal. No, don't say that. 99 cents for a 5-pound bag. 5 pounds of potatoes under $1? What a heist. A perfect score for those large meal gatherings. Quick Trip. We got your taters covered.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
So tell me now, do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't cry to the rhythm they cry for you. And every Saturday night that you ain't keep my tears blue. And these blinding lights, they shine so bright like we're on the moon. I don't wanna dance another beat, no, unless it's with you.
Joining us now on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light, is Jason Wilde. Jason, you can hear on Wilde and Tausch Monday through Friday across these various stations from 9 to noon. It's just Ben Brust and Kyle Wallace. Chris Larson running the show as Brad Nortman is still enjoying a nice vacation. Jason, happy Victory Monday. How are you?
He's no longer the longtime NFL punter. He's the longtime vacationer.
The new Tausch. I think he's going to be gone another week or so, isn't he? He comes back and leaves again, Kyle?
I don't know. I can't keep track of other people's schedules. I hope not.
I know.
Kyle's got a full-time job trying to figure out what he's got going on.
Darn Skippy, I do.
That is true. Jason, real quick, it sounds like you just left the locker room. Kyle and I were discussing the idea of Matt LaFleur not discussing playoffs, and I think I've landed for a young team. I actually think I'm okay with that. If they had been to the playoffs and then were like looking to get back and avenge something they had did, what are your thoughts on not really discussing playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the right play. At the same time, it's not like these guys live in, a monastery or something. Like, they have ESPN.
Yeah, I always hated when Bo was like, I don't know who we play next. Shut up. You know who we play in like 2 weeks.
Oh, he didn't scout him?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing he had that much success, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd want to prepare a little bit ahead, but that's just me.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm sure they are all aware of what the playoff picture looks like. And look, they're not that different from us. They also look at the schedule and see 5 very winnable games. Now, they're not at a point where this team is so damn good that they can just roll their helmets out there and they're going to, win 5 more in a row and finish the year on an 8-game winning streak. I still think that there's a hiccup or two that are ahead of them, but I am certainly in the playoff belief mode, and you're very cold jump in a lake, and that's exciting.
Jason,
and it's very different from how it felt, when they were 2-5, and you were like, "Oh my God, is there a chance they're going to be having a top 5 draft pick?" That ain't happening anymore, Captain.
Jason, what makes you say that the Packers are going to have a hiccup? Is it just because that's what the NFL is?
It's that, and that's what young teams do. Look, they're playing great, and I don't think they're going to collapse. Let me be very clear. When I'm saying that, I'm saying I think there's going to be a game where things aren't going to go their way, and they're not going to play well, and Jordan's going to turn the ball over once or twice or whatever it might be, and they're going to lose. And if you look at all 5 of these teams that they have left, you look at them and say, I can see them winning that game. I can see them winning that game. And it's harder now to picture them losing games like to the Giants, right? The Giants are a mess. Tampa at home in December, hard to picture them losing. I know they're capable of it. Carolina, which is have they won 2 games yet, or they just only got 1 still?
Still 1.
They're terrible, right? And then you got the Vikings on the road. That'll be look, it's always tough no matter where they're at, but it's not like they got Kirk Cousins under center. I was listening to the game, what was that, last Thursday night? And, I'm listening or Monday night, Josh Dobbs throwing 4 picks in a game, and they still almost won because they were playing the Bears. But the last 2 games, the Vikings and the Bears, like, those are all winnable games, very winnable games. And so what I'm saying is that out of those 5, there might be one that's a clunker. But at this point, based on how they're playing, it's hard for me to picture them losing more than one game at most. I mean, that's how in sync and connected and effective they seem to be. And one of the great parts of this job, and one of the things that I love about it, is trying to figure out, okay, what happened and how did it influence what we're seeing now? Mm-hmm. And I thought LaFleur said something super interesting last night. He did not do his Jim Mora playoffs imitation, which I was begging for, but he did say something about how in Pittsburgh, quote, it just felt different. And I know we lost and blah, blah, blah.
Powerful.
But he said it just felt different. Well, and my thing was, and you guys remember this because we talked about it, there's no moral victories, yada, yada, yada. But that's what I'm not saying that I was inside Matt LaFleur's head by any means, but it did feel different. It looked different to those of us on the outside. And so it's interesting that he points to that as being meaningfully different on the inside. And yes, they lost the game, but now they've won 3 straight, and they have looked, especially on offense, like a very different team. And so for me, as I'm watching this season on spool, that feels like a red letter moment. They beat the Rams, but the Rams were playing without Matthew Stafford, and I didn't think Jordan, even though his numbers were good in that game, it was a lot of dink and dunk and not throwing the ball very far past the line of scrimmage, if it was past the line of scrimmage at all. And this offense looks completely different. And so, to me, that is a turning point in a season that could have just kept spiraling. And Tausch has also made the point, and I think he's very smart about saying this. There was a point where LaFleur flat out said, we're done playing that game, talking about how young these guys were. And I thought that was a turning point, too, because it was really a very public admonition for those players of, hey, we're not making excuses for you guys anymore. Like, we're paying you, you're in the NFL, this isn't a fantasy camp. Like, get your blank together. And at the same time, once they kind of challenged their players, LaFleur challenged himself to say, look, I can't be going into these games with these super conservative game plans where I got Jordan just throwing short passes and hoping guys break tackles and make guys miss. I gotta unleash him as much as I want him to let it rip. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff is kind of coalesced together, and now they look like a different team. Kyle, I told you last night, I wouldn't be completely shocked if they won, but I did not think they were going to win last night. I did not. And for them to come out the way they did and play the way they did offensively and defensively, that was really, really impressive. I don't care how flawed you may think the defending champs are right now.
Talking with Jason Wilde here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Jason, it just seems as if, beyond Matt LaFleur, this team, like A.J. Dillon talking about how he's a leader of men. We've talked about the poise that he's shown and hasn't changed. Like, what is it about Jordan that you think helps navigate this whole team and believing in him? Because there is a belief amongst the team that I don't think was felt last year, obviously.
Well, I would say this. I think he's obviously more connected. He's the same age or in the same age range as most of these guys. I still think it's hilarious that his rookie backup, Sean Clifford, is actually older than him because Sean spent forever at Penn State. So he's closer in age. I think his personality is obviously vastly different than his predecessors. I heard a couple things last week about Jordan kind of getting after wide receivers privately as opposed to, maybe doing it on the field. So all those things factor in. I do think it's important to say, though, that if you keep losing and you don't play better yourself, this, Ben, having been on Final Four teams and everything else, yeah, that's great. You're a leader and you're a good teammate and you're a key component to our offense. But if you're not playing well, at some point, nobody really cares how good of a teammate you are. You got to also deliver, right? And especially playing quarterback in the NFL. And he's done both. He is connected with his guys, and he has also played really well over the last 4 or 5 games. So you put that all together, and that's why people are talking about him that way. I do believe that there is a stark contrast between him and his approach and his predecessor and his approach, and that doesn't mean that Rodgers' approach wasn't right with the type of team he had for most of his career.
Agreed.
It doesn't mean that Jordan's approach would work necessarily with other types of teams. And it doesn't mean, and again, Tausch gives me grief about this, but I will preface this by saying I really like Jordan. I really liked Aaron Rodgers for a long time, too, and I think there have been some instances over the last couple of years where he has merited criticism from me that I would have never thought I had to criticize him for some of those things, right? Like, one of the things, and this is all, go get Doc Brown's time machine and go back in time and see if you can tell Aaron Rodgers this, but I said this to Tausch the other day, like, I really would have loved to have seen what could have happened, because you're seeing so much of this young talent blossom, right, during the second half of this season. I would have loved to have seen if he had the same, let's just say, for sake of argument, Goody comes to him and says, look, man, this 8-9 season, we got to do something different. I know you love Cobb. I know you love Bakhtiari. I know you love Alan Lazard, but I want to just tear it down to the studs. And speaking of studs, I want to get you a bunch of young, talented, skill position players. And you're going to have to nurture them and be fun Uncle Aaron to kind of help them through that transition. But if I get you the talent and you help them grow, I think this can work. I don't think it ever was anywhere near that. And I think, obviously, Goody wanted this opportunity for his pick. But I would have loved in that alternative universe to have seen an older brother, fun Uncle Aaron Rodgers, nurturing a bunch of young guys and helping them through the growing pains instead of going on McAfee and complaining about mental mistakes and all that kind of stuff, and seeing what would have happened. Because I'll tell you this, Tausch always says it, it's a young man's league, and these young guys have so much talent and energy and explosiveness. It would have been interesting to see if Aaron Rodgers was willing to alter the way he played to get the best out of them, because these are the kinds of guys that, kind of fountain of youth type guys that would make the old quarterback feel a hell of a lot younger because of what they're capable of doing.
Jason, quickly before we let you go, I mean, from the ups and downs for everyone around this season, Christian Watson was one that's been in the news. Obviously played great yesterday. Any update on his status, because he's severely important?
Yeah, I saw him in the locker room a couple minutes ago. I tried it. He did talk after the game. He said he was hopeful that this wouldn't be a long-term thing. It is the same hamstring that he injured early in the season, and he missed the first 3 games, so that's not ideal. But I did not want to make him stand and talk some more, so I did not stop him. But that said, I do worry about him, right? If you're a Packers fan,
yeah, it's too consistent.
You do see the value of him, and it just feels like at the end of a lot of games this season, Denver, was it the Rams, where he landed hard on the one catch and
there's
injured his back,
three things on the injury report.
Yeah, and then I'm not, and I don't know what Christian would say. I don't mean this to be a jerk, but like I've never seen a guy injure himself, like giving himself up on a play. Like I've never seen that before. Like I've seen a guy tear his ACL doing the belt to make fun of Rodgers, dude, for the Lions a few years ago, but I've never seen that. And so,
Aaron Jones, 4th and 3, pulled up but kept running.
That's true. So I don't. It doesn't seem like it's uber severe, but again, it didn't seem like the hamstring injury coming out of camp was severe, and he missed the first 3 games. So you're right. He's got 4 touchdowns the last 2 games. He has been a difference-making player for them in these 2 wins. You would hate for them not to have him now for an extended period.
Well, for those of you who want more Dontavian Wicks snaps, and deservedly so, I think you may end up seeing them. Jason Wilde here Monday through Friday across these various stations, and he'll join us on Thursday. Thanks for the time, Jason.
All right, dude. Take care. Be good.
That's Jason Wilde. Catch them on Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon. Yeah, they got Dude Fridays on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy because Jen's usually out traveling for College Game Day on ESPN. But we're going to wrap up the ESPN Wisconsin portion before we go just on 94.5 ESPN and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Coming up next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
I'm not going to judge. I like to keep it off of the nipple thing because I have hard nipples all the time. It doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. I'm popping. I'm probably popping out of this Wade Miley jersey for all I know.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
We've told you about Moses Hadara,
the diamond cutter who created the Kessler 81.
The magical diamond that vibrates with light.
Kessler's works with crazy diamond cutters.
Geniuses who create wonderful, spectacular,
crazy diamond shapes.
The one thing these crazy genius diamonds all have in common
is that they explode with light.
The Kessler Emerald Cut diamond sends out rippling waves of light, like water lapping onto a beach.
The Kessler Square Radiant Diamond glows like the sun on the horizon.
Sometimes sunrise,
sometimes sunset.
Come to Kessler's.
Come to Kessler's.
Come to Kessler's.
Ask to see the rippling waves of light, like water on the beach.
Ask to see the glow that looks like sunrise and sunset.
Ask to see the Kessler Crazy Genius Diamonds.
See them for yourself.
See them for yourself.
See them for yourself.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and I have the perfect gift idea for you. A custom holiday gift box filled with all your Kringle favorites from Racine Danish Kringles. Or you could also try the new Holiday Stick Sampler Pack featuring Winter Wonderland, Mary Berry, Gingerbread, and Santa's Cinnaberry. It's stick size and a great way to try all the favorite flavors of the season. So go to Kringle.com to order or call them at 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
Tito's handmade vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
It's never too early to start making your list and checking it twice. Give the gift of a delicious Milwaukee food and city tours experience this holiday season. From a walking tour on Brady Street to our tacos and tequila bus tour or our beloved Christmas bakery bus tour, we have something for all tastes. Plus, we're offering a 15% discount on all gift card purchases through the end of the year. Send your clients, colleagues, or family this delicious gift at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com.
At every meeting, at every new beginning, at every celebration, we make better happen. At Cousin Subs, better is more than just a word. It's a promise we serve at every party. Our customizable party boxes, box lunches, party chips, and dozen cookie boxes offer the options you need to please any crowd. Whatever the occasion, we will never settle for being just good enough. Order on our mobile app or online at cousinsubs.com. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I came here for love.
He deserves every word of our mouth. Out of our mouth to be
word
about
of our
him.
Mouth, huh?
Yeah, word of our mouth. I was waiting for you to come in and say, what the hell are you talking about?
No, every word of our mouth. I don't know what that means, but, he can have it.
The words out of Kyle Wallace's mouth were he believes the Packers are the best team in the NFC North. Do you agree or disagree?
They are.
35% of people agree. 65% disagree. I'm still on the disagree side. I think there's too much of a bigger, again, the same way I preach sample size with Jordan Love is the same way I'm going to preach that for the Detroit Lions. They are 9-3. The Packers are 6-6. I think if you would have said right now, I can make an argument.
What do you mean, but right now? I mean, that's just the thing. It's just the reason why Florida State got left out of a whole playoff in college football because they didn't think they were one of the best teams right now. The best team now is what matters.
What? The Lions would still get in over the Packers if they were trying to figure that out.
Because the Packers have 6 losses, but the Packers, they're tied head-to-head.
But that's my point.
When we look at the matchups, I mean,
Packers... No. 6-6 teams aren't in that conversation. That's my point, kiddo.
But who the hell you calling kiddo? I don't know how you went to Madison and lost your damn mind. Young man.
I call you kiddo because I'm in Madison right now near Milwaukee.
I almost had an FCC violation. I said, who the but for real though, I mean, we can sit here, the Lions. I understand. I'm not trying to discredit how good of a football team they are. This is how highly I think of the Green Bay Packers. It is not by coincidence that the Packers won these games back-to-back weeks. And I love how Jason talked about that Steelers game because he's right. It did feel different. It felt weird. There was just something there with them being able to back up after they played against the Rams. We were very down on them. It was as low as people saying, it was like watching JV football.
For the record, Kyle, moral victories are okay when you are like the youngest team in the NFL.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you finally come around to the moral victory and see that they actually do matter.
Well, again, it's all situational. Like if this was Aaron Rodgers on the team, I wouldn't be like, oh, no moral victories. No. Aaron Rodgers is the same year that they win like 28-3 against the Bills. I forget whoever it was, or 21-3. He was like, no, we sucked, and it was the year that Mike McCarthy got fired.
Yeah,
so like
because when you have Super Bowl title aspirations, there's no such thing as moral victories. You don't want moral victories in that sense. You want actual real victories that are impressive, that builds confidence that you can win a championship.
Which is why in the should the Packers be talking about the playoffs outwardly conversation, it is like, again, I'm okay with Matt LaFleur. They're all going to look naturally, but you don't want to make it a bigger story within your locker room, within your mission statement as a team, because then you start overthinking. You know what's at stake, but the more you can focus as a young team on getting better and getting there for the first time is more important than looking ahead. Now, if they get there and then they lose, again, next year, we have the experience. We know what we're building towards. We know we want to get to the playoffs because we can learn from whatever happened this past season.
You know what I look at is the next big game that actually really matters. This last 5 games, they all matter because now you're playing for the fact that we have turned the corner and this is the football team that we're going to be heading into the playoffs and also heading into 2024-25 season. But that next big game is going to be on New Year's Eve that KBN will be broadcasting Green Bay game day here on 94.5 ESPN, 100.5 ESPN Madison as well, with ESPN Wisconsin all as a whole. Is that game against the Vikings because of the fact that there's going to be a lot on the line for that game. You either are going to say, we're going to secure a playoff spot here, or we're going to take a game lead or something. This game is going to mean something. And when it means something when it comes to playoffs at a heightened level, that's when I want to see these guys show up. That's when I want to see Jordan Love playing at that next level. That is the big next measuring stick game for the Green Bay Packers in my book.
Yeah, you're doing the thing I don't want them to do, which is look ahead to a Vikings game.
They're week to week. They have to earn.
I know. But if you're thinking like that, somebody else is.
They shouldn't be thinking about that game whatsoever because right now they are in a playoff race. Each and every game matters in order for them to make the playoffs. So they can't look ahead because you have to win every single game that's in front of you. Now, when that game comes, that's the one I'm interested in, but they can't be looking ahead whatsoever because they have proven nothing. They are tied with 3 other teams for a playoff spot right now with 6-6 records.
Well, here's the thing. The whole way we've done this show is evaluating Jordan Love and the season being a success or failure based off of Jordan Love. I believe he's the guy. I mean, it's all love all the time. I'm all in on Jordan Love. You are as well. but I feel like you maybe have pushed your expectations a little bit. So I do want to know, is the season already a success? Because to me it is. Even if they don't make the playoffs, I believe they will. But even if they don't, it is still a success because you have your guy of the future. Rutledge and Hamilton coming up next in Madison. Make sure you get to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee to stream and comment. The text line's down, which is okay, which is why you go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
The record store, you're gonna give them all your money. Radio plays what they want you to hear.
Delays continue on southbound 43 from Silver Spring all the way down to Locust. Northbound side starting to get into the act, a little bit slow from North Avenue up to Keefe. And then southbound on 41 backing up from Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, light snow or a mix, less than an inch of accumulation, a low of 33. Tomorrow, rain or snow early and cloudy with a high of 40. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hear that? It's the sound of a winning December at Potawatomi. Play with your club card December 7th, 14th, and 21st. The more you play, the bigger your share of $400,000 in reindeer rewards. And like a classic Midwest winter, the wins can really pile up. Dash to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee for your reindeer rewards. $400,000 worth. Learn more at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN. Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It's the 4-1-4 Victory Monday. Hour at 4 on KBN.
And we are presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust. Kicked out of the Everlight Solar ESPN studios. They got me in the side studio now. Kyle Wallace at the One Call That's All studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 800-990-3776 is the number you can call. But if you would like to participate, the text lines are down, which is okay because you could just go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and stream Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, and we will react to your comments on there. A quick little housekeeping here off the top, Kyle. I don't know if you saw this, but
what is that?
A.J. Dillon rocking a Fox O's Jordan Love a turkey leg shirt right now in the locker room.
Well, that's the truth. And so shout out to Strofe because he said, he wanted to acknowledge himself. He had a good idea that yesterday that NBC should have had a turkey leg for Jordan Love, and they should have had one for him because he performed well and he would have earned that turkey leg. But I'm right there with him. They need to be shipping my boy a turkey. So around the holiday, around Christmas time, I expect a turkey to be shipped to Jordan Love for him to enjoy for his exceptional play on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, we did eat a turkey leg in honor.
We did, but we ate one, but he needs to eat his own. Now I want that boy to have his own turkey leg. He earned it. I knew he cared. It mattered.
You had said it. Like, this is a tradition. This is something. When I'm seeing Greg Olson in the Fox booth, yum, 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 you can smack your lips for 2 seconds. There you go. The turkey leg deserved to go to Jordan Love. And at least now it doesn't matter because A.J. Dillon can wear a Jordan Love deserves a turkey leg shirt because Jordan Love is that's the utmost confidence. When you are flaunting your quarterback like that and putting him on your shirt and repping him and walking around, that's confidence.
No, it is.
You know what I mean? If Jordan Love was no good, he wouldn't be like Zach Wilson's owed a turkey leg. You know, it wouldn't happen. He's earned the opportunity to be front and center. And it is a Jordan Love celebration because if you were on the fence and you needed more sample size, there's no more that you need to see. If you say, well, he still may underthrow some balls, great. He has showed in the 4 toughest games of the season in their schedule that he is playing at a high level. His teammates are committed to him. They play for him. They play together, and they are growing together. And to me, that is something that has been lacking. And for obvious reasons, again, I don't blame Aaron for everything because if I was at the end of my career and Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson were given to me in the 2022 season and say, all right, go repeat number 1 seeds in the NFC, I'd be like, what the hell am I doing here? But at the same time, if this was all part of the plan, which is hard for me to still give Goot that much credit, it's working out.
Yeah, the problem with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers at the end is that the vision wasn't aligned. They weren't on the same page. They weren't on the same wavelength, and they weren't walking lockstep with one another. And that is the issue. And so when you don't have faith and you lose confidence in the organization to put talent around you and you don't buy in to what the organization is trying to do, that is when you become disgruntled, and that's when you have a division. And so based off what happened, Goody didn't do a very good job of building a trustworthy relationship with Aaron Rodgers because he did not put guys around him. And when Jason was talking about, hey, it would have been fun to see Uncle Aaron, it was too late. Uncle Aaron was already upset about what Auntie Goody did years ago, where Auntie Goody ignored the wishes of Uncle Aaron. And so it was just too late for him to be able to try to build that up to the fact that the relationship was so bad is that Aaron Rodgers left his general manager on red.
Kyle, I got to cut you off for some breaking news here.
Uh-oh.
You ready for this?
What is it?
All right. Our guy, David Kaplan, who joined us.
Oh, gosh.
Last Monday.
Is he changing? Hopefully he's changing his tune.
He's doubling down on something that you specifically called out. On Twitter, at KBN, ESPN Kyle W. believes the Packers are the best team in the NFC North. Do you agree or disagree? David Kaplan of ESPN 1000, you can hear Cap and Jay Hood 7 to 10 mornings on our sister station. He joined us last week and said that Justin Fields was the best quarterback in the division.
Ridiculous.
And that next year the Bears would win 9 games and make the playoffs. He says Lions... #take that, which is his catchphrase. So he's, in a way, to me, this is where you have power over him now, Kyle, because he didn't say Fields, Bears, 9 wins. He basically said Lions take that. He knows he's dumb.
Yeah, he knows he's dumb. And here's the thing. He's like all the other Bears fans. They're shaking in their boots because what they thought they were going to finally be the big bad Bears because they don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers or the Green Bay Packers. And look what happened. The thing that they hated, the worst thing that could potentially happen for all Bears fans is not seeing the Lions be good. It's not seeing the Vikings be good. It's Jordan Love being good and the Green Bay Packers in playoff conversation while the Bears are sitting there hoping that they have the answer at quarterback. And so I love the fact that we are living rent-free in Dave Kaplan and all those of ESPN 1000 in Chicago's mind with the Green Bay Packers. We got them spooked. We got them scared. I love that. I love the fact that he's not even focused on his team anymore.
Yeah, that's right. I love that rent-free right there.
Yeah, he's not even focused on his team anymore. Now he's talking about Lions. He's talking about Lions. That's what he's doing. That's how lowly they are down there in Chicago.
Just the idea of like knowing a lot, like my brother. He is the official fan of the team of the South of KBN Nation, right? Knowing when we were watching on Thanksgiving, the whole world was watching, Kyle. And then knowing it was a Sunday night football game. Do you know the Sunday scaries that had to creep in any Chicago football fan, any Vikings football fan, and even the Lions after they got beat by the Packers? They got to be watching and thinking, damn, this sucks.
Yeah. They have to be. And here's the thing that sucks for the Lions even more. The Lions have to face it and go at it. This is great. But really, honestly, Ben, as a Packer fan, is I don't want to get too high and start gloating too much. I mean, there's one thing to gloat about the Bears. The Bears suck. The organization is trash. They need to sell the team. They need to do something to revamp it. But everybody else, I don't have an issue with the Vikings. I don't have an issue with the Lions. I still think my Packers still have to prove it. These last 5 games of the season will be an opportunity for the Packers to prove it. And so I'm not going to get too cocky here for everybody else. But when it comes to Bears fans, oh yeah, I'm walking the walk and I'm strutting my stuff. I'm walking with my chest out because Jordan Love has been balling out. And he not only is leading the best team in the NFC North, if you ask me, he is also the best quarterback in the NFC North. It is not even close.
800-990-3776. You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across 94.5 ESPN and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Just Kyle Wallace and Ben Brust. We are presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. The text line doesn't work, which is okay, because you can go to @ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. We're taking your comments on there. And where I want to go next, Kyle, is I want your opinion on this, because I believe that the season is already a success. I believe that because Jordan Love is playing at such a high level, making it a no-brainer decision to at least make him your quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years, that this is a success. The whole goal of this season was the evaluation of Jordan Love. Now, goals can shift, but it doesn't mean that if the goals shift, you can't look at it as a success, because, again, this team is so young that even putting themselves in a spot to go to the playoffs, I think, is something that could be viewed as a success. No matter what, that's where I'm at.
Ben, I'm glad that you've come around to believing that this season is an absolute success because of the fact that Jordan Love is looking like he is your franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to say this season is a success without us playing all 17 games. I got caught up early in the season when I had crowned Jordan Love as our quarterback before we had to go through some of the ups and downs and the bumps in the road.
I'm so caught up, really feeling it.
All right, now, you know, a little Usher.
Super Bowl coming.
Yeah, it sure is. Taylor Swift ain't playing the Super Bowl. Usher is, baby. But the whole thing that I'm trying to say is this, is that I got so high up earlier in the year that I forgot that there were still a lot of games left to be played. And for Jordan Love and for these Green Bay Packers, they have 5 more games left. This is a 17-game regular season for the Green Bay Packers, and I am not ready to make any type of judgment on this season being a success until I see the season through. At this point now, my expectations for the Green Bay Packers have shifted to what my expectation is. This should be a playoff team. With the 5 games that you have left, I expect this team to go 4-1 in those games, because that's how good they have shown they can be. So this season is not quite yet a success at this point. We need to play all 17 games in order for us to fully evaluate and say that this is a success. Did we check some boxes off by figuring out Jaden Reed's a good receiver, Luke Musgrave's a good tight end, Tucker Kraft is turning out to be a good tight end, and most importantly, Jordan Love is going to be a great quarterback? Yes, we checked off those boxes, but we need all 17 games to evaluate this team as a whole before I say that this season is a success. Don't put the cart before the horse, Ben.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Like I had said, goals can change when you're 6-6 right now, and the way the NFC is playing out, you're in the playoffs if the season were ending today. The Packers were 6-10 in Aaron Rodgers' first season. Would you say that was a successful season?
No, that season wasn't a success for me. I was watching that season, and I was miserable. Absolutely miserable, because the Green Bay Packers, week after week, Aaron Rodgers put this team in a position to win, and the defense failed that team. Winning 6 games as a Green Bay Packers fan was not acceptable at that time, and really, honestly, we were lowering the bar for this season for the Packers because we didn't know what to expect with Jordan Love. But no, that was not a successful season. But at the end of the year, I will say this, I was hopeful for what was to come, because we knew we had a guy in Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and we had talent at receiver. We just needed our defense to step up.
Yeah, I feel like there's something I want to do here on Twitter at KBNESPN. Work with me, Kyle, here, because here's what I'm trying to get at. I want to know if people were more confident heading into 2009 or into 2024 based off the QB and team situation.
Oh man, I can answer that question for you easy.
You're going to say this year? Are you recency bias?
No, not at all. I mean, you look at the Green Bay Packers the year before, Aaron Rodgers took over. Do you know how good that team was? That team was literally an overtime game away, an overtime win away from going to the Super Bowl bin. That's how good they were the year before. So the expectations that the team had the following year, the bar had been set. The expectations were there. Though we changed quarterbacks, when you are a quarterback in Green Bay, we expect you to be great. Aaron Rodgers carried that on, but he took a team that went to the NFC Championship to a 6-10 record the following year. That was an ultimate disappointment. We're looking at something very different this year where you had a 9-8 team that lost all the little veteran receivers that they had because they went to Green Bay East, and you had to put 8-9 team last year. And then on top of that, you have the youngest team in football this year. You have to lower the expectation. And so that's why going into 2008, 2009 season, my expectation was that the Green Bay Packers were going to be competitive. I did not expect 6 wins. That's why it was so frustrating. This year, though, I was expecting 7 wins max, and they look like they're going to get more than that.
800-990-3776 on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, where you're taking your comments. We'll be back, and I want to discuss with Kyle a little wager we placed at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have you heard about this, Kyle?
Whoa, what happened?
I'll tell you next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
Any of this, what did you say, entitled, and any of this other stuff?
You remind me of the David Bakhtiari of ESPN Wisconsin.
You're a jack blank. That's the best way I can put it. And I do have to give Kyle and Norty credit because I heard it, and they both knew that you were being an idiot.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We are seeing delays right now. Southbound 43 stretching from before Silver Spring all the way down past Locust, back on the brakes through the Marquette. Northbound slowing down from Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keith. Westbound 94 slowing down from 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. And if you're heading down 41 southbound, watch for the delays coming in from before Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by Evans Transportation in Delafield, where they provide customized logistic solutions to keep you and your business moving forward. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, light snow mix, then less than an inch of accumulation, a low of 33. And tomorrow, rain and snow early and cloudy with a high of 40. Weather is brought to you by the Bartolotta Restaurants, offering the perfect holiday gift, a memorable experience with Bartolotta gift cards. Purchase yours at bartolottas.com, and happy holidays, Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away. And once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at lowtusa.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10 to 12 ounce or 10 to 12 count selected varieties Green Mountain or McCafe coffee, $6.99. 4 to 6 count selected varieties Northern Bath or Brawny Towel, $7.99. 57.6 ounce selected varieties Extra Laundry Detergent, $2.99. 1 pound selected varieties Land O'Lakes Butter, $4.99.
Look at those brats. You do tailgating right. Absolutely. Did you see the spread out there? You've got enough food to feed the entire lot. I'm splurging now and then hoping to win $700 in free groceries. $700? Yeah, it's all part of the 70th anniversary at Century Foods. No kidding. Next week, I'll do the shopping. Maybe I'll score $700 in groceries. All you need is the weekly code. It's on Century's Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I just remembered. I'll be out of town next week. Yeah, right, cheapskate.
Ends January 3rd.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Ho, ho, ho! I need a window.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So where do I go? Ho,
Come on,
ho.
Santa. Go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 18 months.
Hella no, pay later. Ho,
That's right, Santa. Plus, our elves install year-round and in as little as 1 day. Offer ends December 31st. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See show for details.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life.
Kyle Wallace is feeding Chris Larson the bump back songs. Fair, Kyle?
You said I'm feeding the songs?
Yeah.
How you know?
I'm starting to figure out your musical genre and style.
Oh, okay. I mean, me and Chris been going back and forth with it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, 94.5 ESPN. We are presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. And Kyle, last week, I made the argument that if they were to win this game against the Kansas City Chiefs, that Matt LaFleur as Coach of the Year would make a lot of sense. Now, on the take machine on Thursdays, which anybody can give a take around our office, we're going to find a way to get you all involved as fans and listeners. We heard somebody say that Jordan Love for MVP after this week would be a real conversation. So there are two things that have, I think, gone to the forefront a little bit. Our bet, in which we were able to go to Pato Sportsbook in Milwaukee and put $10 down on plus 10,000 odds for LaFleur to be the Coach of the Year. $10 to win 1,000 is now down from plus 10,000 to
plus 2,000,
plus 3,000. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. So now, if we were to do the same bet, we would be betting $10 to win $300.
But instead, we're winning $1,000.
Correct. And if a lot of things have to happen. Right now, the biggest obstacle, in my opinion, is DeMeco Ryans, the head coach of the Houston Texans, because they're not in the play. If they miss the playoffs and the Packers make the playoffs, you can't give the Coach of the Year to somebody who misses the playoffs.
No, you cannot. You cannot. And so that's the thing. If the Packers win 5 straight games and DeMeco Ryans cannot lead the Texans to the playoffs, I think he may have this wrapped up because, again, we've seen it's not about the best team in football where the coach gets it. It's about the most impressive team that shocks the most. And I would say right now the Packers are probably one of the more impressive teams, especially after those back-to-back victories and winning 4 of 5 games. Is 80%? Is that better? Winning 80% of your last 5 games? Does that sound better?
It does. It sounds like I still think 4 or 5 is good.
I mean, 4 or 5 is always great, but I mean 80% is great.
I like 4 or 5, especially when it comes to the NFL, because we know how much of a week-to-week league it is. When you are able to string together wins like the Packers have the last 5 weeks, I mean, here's the thing. If they had won 3 of their last 5, and one of those was Brett Rippon, then it wouldn't sound as strong. But now 4 or 5, sure, there's going to be a Brett Rippon here or there, but there was a Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes in there too.
And that's the thing, and that's why I said when they beat the Rams, though they didn't look spectacular beating the Rams, winning is winning. And winning football games allows you to be in this conversation for the playoffs. And so that's why at the time I didn't give a dang whether it was the Rams without with Brett Rippon, or the Rams with Matt Stafford, or the Rams with Ben Brust or Kyle Wallace. It did not matter, because all that mattered was the Packers finally finding a way to end their losing streak and finally get in the W column again.
800-990-3776 on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. And so the other portion of that is the Jordan Love MVP conversation. Now, I think when you extrapolate the time frame of the last 4 weeks, I think you can make a compelling argument, but that's where I don't want to get ahead of the skis here. I still think, to your point, right, if they finish, I think Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love go hand in hand. The same way Aaron Rodgers, I guess Aaron Rodgers was MVPs and LaFleur to win Coach of the Years. That's the thing. The glory went to Aaron Rodgers, whereas he had some down years. LaFleur comes in, and Rodgers has a resurgence in his career. But to me, if they do win 5 straight, I think that is very, very, very hard to do. I would not put money down that they finish 11-6. I think 10-7 for the next 5 is what you should be shooting for as a fan. If you go 3-2, finish 9-8 against this schedule after beating the Lions and the Chiefs, that's going to feel kind of like a letdown. But if they get to 10-11 games and Jordan Love plays like he's done the last 2 games, I mean, because let's be honest, without Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon's been doing a solid job.
Yes.
He really has, like 4+ yards a carry. They're going to score based off Jordan Love. And I'm not just saying that because I placed the bet for $100 donated to Guarding Against Cancer for every Jordan Love touchdown.
You watch the football game. That's what the reality is.
They're going to go as far as he takes them, as unfair as that is. Because you can't be like, all right, AJ Dillon, the whole game's on you.
No, that's
fair. They have great pass protection, and if they continue to do so, Jordan's got to continue to thrive and grow with these young wide receivers.
Ben, listen, you're not saying anything that's crazy. This is why running backs can barely get a second contract. Look at Jonathan Taylor, and quarterbacks are getting paid $40 million a year and $50 million a year. It is on the quarterback's arm. It's on their shoulder for this team to be successful, for every team to be successful. And the one thing I'll say about this MVP race, this is a down year. You don't have anybody that's really leading this race as the front runner, and we've talked about it before. The NFL has a lot of quarterback type of play going on this year.
I'll tell you who it is.
Who it may be struggled when his players were out. Are we talking about the same guy? The guy that struggled when Deebo Samuel was hurt? The guy that struggled when his running back was hurt? The guy that struggled
I'm not talking about a quarterback.
Well, Tyreek Hill. That's the guy.
Tyreek Hill
that's who it
is
should
the
be.
best player in the NFL.
That's who it should be. For some reason, this became a
quarterback race.
A quarterback race, exactly what it is. And so right now, Brock Purdy's the guy that might be the front runner, but look what he's done when he had talent around him. But let's speak volumes.
And that's my thing, Kyle, is like as I continue to look at Jordan Love, I've said it how many times today? 50 times today, because it is mind-boggling to think what Jordan Love as a first-year starter, the same rant I went on 5 years ago or 5 weeks ago, Kyle. Goody didn't give Jordan Love enough. He set him up to fail. This is on him. Is the same reason why I'm like, holy cow, Jordan Love is really, really good, because the things that I had called out that I thought were flawed from what Jordan Love was given to be successful standpoint, this goes back to last year. Because I thought last year after the season, I was like, man, for somebody who drafted Jordan Love to replace Aaron Rodgers, you would have thought maybe signing Devontae would have been like a priority to give him a veteran pass catcher. Signing a veteran pass catcher. He goes, nope. And I'm thinking that's a bold strategy. And to be honest, it still is a bold strategy. And it just happened to be working out at the right time, and they're connecting at the right time in the season. But the reason why I keep bringing that up is for the same reason I was so mad at Goody for how he set this team up and for what I felt like Jordan Love to fail, is the same reason why these last 4 to 5 games have been so impressive, because of the youth around him, because of losing D-Bach, because of losing Aaron Jones.
Jair Alexander has not played.
I was just going to say that. Coming into the 2023 NFL season, who were the best 3 Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, it was David Bakhtiari, it was Aaron Jones, and it was Jair Alexander.
They have put themselves in the playoff race without any of those guys. And Jordan Love has lifted this team to a level in which you're like, oh, wow.
No, it is. Oh, wow. And that's the thing.
Oh, wow.
Is that the outlook for this team and for this franchise is leaps and bounds better than what it was originally when we talked about 4 or 5 weeks ago, going into these next 4 games where we were like, well, maybe they can win 1 and hopefully they can win 2. But they ended up winning 3 or 4 of those football games. And I'm not going, here's the thing. I don't think that these young players are even close to reaching their full potential. And that's the thing, is that Jordan Love has played so well. The offensive line specifically has stepped up and played well as a unit. It has allowed for Jordan Love to find these guys getting open. But I still don't think these guys know 100% what they're doing. I know Strofe talked about it yesterday in Green Bay game day. Christian Watson ran the wrong route on the Jaden Reed touchdown from 2 weeks ago. These guys still haven't even gotten close to what they can be as an offense. So that's why it's even more impressive what Jordan Love has been able to do with not a ragtag bunch, but just a young, inexperienced bunch of receivers and tight ends that they have on this team. Heck, Ben Sims, who most people don't even know who the heck that is, but he scored the first touchdown yesterday. We all saw that. He came out of nowhere and he had a touchdown. So it's just impressive what Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love has done. I don't think he should be in the MVP conversation quite yet, but I will say, if he plays like this and he can carry that into next season, he might be a front runner for the MVP in 2024.
You putting down some more money depending on the Coach of the Year goes?
I mean, honestly, depending on how the rest of this season goes.
All right. Hang on. This is a real conversation, Kyle. We have $10 to win $1,000 on Matt LaFleur as Coach of the Year. And to me, Dan Campbell, if he was going to win it, it should have been last year. You know what I mean? They didn't make it the playoffs, so like I'm not big on going to him. DeMeco Ryans, I get. Mike McDaniel, there's too much talent. Like you kind of get what I'm saying. Like all these other coaches that I'm looking at, if you look at what they're working with in comparison to Matt LaFleur, what Matt LaFleur has done with this team, if they're able to finish 4 of their last 5 wins, I'm selling that. Or DeMeco Ryans, not Mike McDaniels, not the Indy coach. I guess that is kind of impressive. Gardner Minshew. Again, my point is we just need to be in the conversation late in this season, and with 4 of the next 5 games against teams with no winning records, the Packers have the perfect opportunity to make the playoffs and help us win a little ching.
I want that money, baby.
I know what you're going to spend it on. Another chain, probably.
Hey,
huh?
well, you know what I saw? I did see a jeweler yesterday at the Green Bay game day. They're at the Frozen Tundra, and he said he got me. So I may put
crap! I forgot that I'm on the stream holding my computer. You could have told me it was shaking.
Oh, I'm halfway looking at you and then standing around looking into the camera, but it is shaking. It was very shaky. I'm getting shaking baby syndrome. How many times that's rocking?
Yeah, next one of you guys got to hold me accountable out here. We hear from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. Leroy Butler, Packer legend and NFL Hall of Famer, talks about how this team became more of a band rather than a solo act. We hear from Leroy next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Okay, that might be true.
In Ben's defense, I will say that Al was very confident as well, saying that he was going to smoke Brust.
He did.
So,
He just talked some smack.
He did.
Chris, Benny Believer. I have 3% now.
Benny Believer.
There's Benny Believers out there. You better believe it.
Who created that?
Benny Believer.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
A couple of accidents to deal with now. Southbound 43, right about at Fond du Lac Avenue. We've got it off on the right shoulder. And then another one on westbound 94 coming out of the Marquette on the right shoulder as well. For the most part, we're seeing most of the delays southbound 43 starting from before Silver Spring all the way down to the accident scene. The northbound side is going to be backed up from Fond du Lac Avenue up past Keefe. Traffic is brought to you by Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive. For a fun family activity, visit or volunteer on December 9th. For more information, visit kidstokidstoydrive.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Light snow mix, then less than an inch of accumulation, a low of 33. Then tomorrow, rain and snow early, then cloudy, a high of 40. Weather is brought to you by the Bartolotta Restaurants, offering the perfect holiday gift, a memorable experience with Bartolotta gift cards. Purchase yours at bartolottas.com, and happy holidays, Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Ah, Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge.
It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Saganiac Planning Fantastic Finish. February 5th, 1974. Marquette at the Arena against Wisconsin. Not the most important finish ever, but maybe the one most talked about. Maurice Lucas with a 20-foot jump shot at the buzzer. Marquette won 59-58, and that's when things really started. Al McGuire jumped on one of the courtside tables to celebrate, and the father of the Badger twins gave McGuire half a peace sign that was photographed perfectly. Not photographed, but Lucas told McGuire minutes later, "You better be glad I made that shot, or you would have been hiding under that table and not on top of it." Ready for a game changer? Now's the time to take your shot with Quartz. Quartz, your local provider-owned and affordable health insurance. Quartz is a proud partner of Aurora Healthcare, so you get to stay in the network you love with the providers you love. Visit quartzbenefits.com or Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Quartz brand of health plans are offered by Quartz Health Benefit Plans Corporation, Quartz Health Plan Corporation, and Quartz Health Insurance Corporation, which are separate legal entities.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7- and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
The holidays are here, and the perfect gift idea is a custom holiday gift box filled with Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles. Try the new Holiday Stick Sampler Pack featuring Winter Wonderland, Mary Berry, Gingerbread, and Santa's Cinnaberry. Order today at Kringle.com.
Truth, reason, and tolerance shaped our U.S. Constitution, but those building blocks of democracy are under attack. Big tech social media splits us apart, hurts our children, and causes violence and terror in our communities. Be a part of the change. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I need your love, I need your time. When everything's wrong, you make it right.
Since 1862, Lakeland University has been a leader in finding ways to help students make their dreams come true. And it's education designed for the busy working adult, and that could be you. Not college as usual, so don't put your life on hold. You can go earn your degree. Build a schedule that fits your needs, and Lakeland College has established a history of meeting students where they are in their life, and that includes dedication to offering degrees at the right price that fits your budget. So again, Lakeland University, taking care of you for a long, long time, since 1862. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, 94.5 ESPN, as well as 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. I'm Ben Brust alongside Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, still on vacation. Chris Larson running the show. What up?
Before we get into the next topic, I mean, have you had a chance to brag about, the fact that you don't have to wear a...
Oh, I haven't.
Yeah, you don't have to wear a cheerleader outfit. And thank goodness for us, because I guarantee you would have free ball behind there. You probably weren't going to wear any type of drawers underneath that. Cause,
no, I mean,
you're just weird like that.
So, for those who missed it, Jen Latta, morning host of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, 7 and 9 across these various stations. She and I placed a bet for the Badger Marquette game. She was a cheerleader at Marquette. I played basketball at Wisconsin. If the Badgers lost, I was going to be in a Marquette cheerleading outfit outside the McGuire Center in Milwaukee. And now I have it packed up, Kyle. I just was in Madison today for the day. Tomorrow I'll be bringing in my jersey, my shorts, and a pair of basketball shoes, size 13, for Jen to wear. And I just got to get a sign. What should we put on the sign for Jen Latta?
I simply
on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, or we'll take your suggestions. Put it in the comments. What should we put on the sign that Jen Latta has to hold up in my Ben Brust game-worn Wisconsin jersey outside the Al McGuire Center?
I honestly think it should be on Wisconsin. I don't know if you need to put anything. That's all you say. You say on Wisconsin. You said it
You know
all.
what? The reason why I like that is because if I were the loser of this bet and I had to hold a sign that said "We are Marquette," there might not be anything in the world I would not want to do rather than that.
I think her standing on campus with that, that's embarrassing enough.
Oh, man, right close to the School of Journalism where she went. Oh, man, that's going to hurt, and it's going to feel great to watch.
You should make her do it right on Wisconsin Avenue in front of the Owl. Right on Wisconsin Avenue. And make her do it during class change, like at noon or something like that. So 11:50 where kids are leaving class and then going to the next one, and they all walk by and they look and they say, "Isn't that Jen Latta?" And then on top of that, if any basketball players walk by, they notice her. Oof, rough.
It's going to be a tough look, and I can't wait to do it.
Has she texted you at all, or no? She's been ghosting.
No, she put it out on Twitter that she's got to do the bet, and again, her idea was to do it this week so we can execute it. So that's why I'm bringing it in tomorrow, so we have no excuses. I just got to make sure I head and stop and get a sign for her to hold in the air that says,
"Is it washed?" I don't want her washed, and also I wonder how her husband gonna feel about her wearing another man's jersey.
It's not my problem. She made the bet. That's for them two to figure out.
That's a tough thing.
She might have to roll the shorts 3 times for it to. No, actually, part of it is like that we wore really, really baggy shorts, so it'll look even more embarrassing.
Well, we already know that Jen wears the pants in that relationship. So,
whoa,
yeah, I don't think Dara's gonna have an issue.
Yeah,
with
that's
it,
not.
Wait, that's common knowledge.
That's common knowledge. Yeah,
that's not news. Don't worry, Kyle.
Hey, I didn't want no beef with Dario. I didn't want no beef.
You're scared of everybody.
I'm not scared of nobody. I just don't want to have tension. You know, sometimes you just have tension because you're attached to somebody. Like Matt LaFleur has tension with us for now until we change that because we all love Jordan Love, so we're doing it all for love.
Well, I
just don't want to have tension
Kyle,
with.
Here's what's going to happen. All right. Now, Matt LaFleur and Ben Brust did not have a great first meeting of each other. It was outside of training camp in which I was wearing an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey, number 8, and I badgered Matt LaFleur to sign my jersey. And he does not love me for that. And I understand. If I were him, I'd be like, who the heck is that guy? And get him on my face. What the heck is going on? He handled himself very well. Me, I have no regrets about how I handle myself, other than maybe not the best idea in the world. But at the same time, right, when you live in this state, right, the reason why I'm looking forward to giving $100 for every Jordan Love touchdown is I live in this state because I love the people and I love living here. I consider it home. And when you donate to Guarding Against Cancer, it all goes to the UW Carbone Cancer Center, which is a nationally renowned research cancer institute right here in the state of Wisconsin. There's a lot of great things out there, and I'm not going to bash any other foundation. But what I love about what Coach Gard has done is that $7.5 million since 2016 all goes to the state of Wisconsin. So the same people that have been cheering for me and rooting for me that are now donating. And as I watched Jordan Love blossom, Matt LaFleur spoke at the Guarding Against Cancer signature event last year that I was not able to attend. We can all kumbaya, come full circle. And I tell him, Matt, I'm sorry. I forgot the reason why I'm standing here today. It's because the people of Wisconsin love Wisconsin. So let's come together, raise some money for charity, and give a hug.
Man, I'm sorry.
And he can still say, bleep you, but I'm glad you're doing this for cancer, and I would still consider that a win. How does that sound?
That sounds great. I'll be there from a distance to see how the conversation goes. If the conversation doesn't go well and he gives you a bleep you, then I won't walk up there.
No, we're going to facilitate a little more formal introduction.
I don't know if I want to be introduced introduce with you right away. I might want to be on the side, and if things are going well, then hey, Matt, come up there, creep up there behind you. But if the conversation don't go well, I don't want him to associate us with each other. I want him to know Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Just be unsure who that Kyle fellow is, but he's going to give him a chance versus me being there when you're reminding him.
You can't be scared. You can't be scared.
I'm not scared. I just,
you can always turn something that people don't know is a positive into a positive.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll find my best way to do that.
We're doing it. Jordan Love touchdowns. We've raised $5,700 in one game to Guarding Against Cancer. And if you want to get involved, go to touchdownsforlove.com, touchdownsforlove.com, and you can donate if you can there today. Brian Bulaga, former Packer tackle. Want as much time as possible with that guy. I love him. Next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
Honestly,
I don't like it.
Honestly, sometimes I don't like when I win either.
Yeah.
Because I'm really annoying about it, and I think the entire listening audience, I'd probably have 2% of everyone listening is rooting for me to win. The other 98% are rooting for me to fall on my face.
I'm in that 98% now.
Most topics can be polarizing. I feel like this is not polarizing.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Even when you think you know what's going on.
What if you do it so poorly that she doesn't want you to do it anymore?
You can never be too sure.
She doesn't care. This is all for pain and spite.
No, that's not true. She must like the lights on the house.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I offered to decorate here in Florida, but I got crickets. She just wants to see me in pain, and she wants it 10 below zero.
I don't think...
Mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Discount Liquor. Did you know that George Washington served his own homemade version of eggnog made with rum, rye whiskey, and sherry? Well, a lot's changed since the days of our first president, but one constant has been celebrating the holiday season and upcoming new year with family, friends, and loved ones. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. 'Tis the season to check out Discount Liquor's tremendous selection of over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,000 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines from around the world. And yes, we do carry 8 varieties of ready-to-drink eggnog. Celebrate this most festive time with a great selection of beautifully packaged liquor gift sets, sure to make you the hit of the party or as a perfect gift for the liquor connoisseur on your shopping list. Discount Liquor, 2 locations, in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor. See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Sam Steiner is joining me. How important is it that actual surgery is viewed as a last option?
The way we always want to treat people is try and do something least invasive to get people where they want to be. And in some cases, that means talking to them, setting them up with a therapist, explaining what they have going on. And in other cases, if it comes to it, then yes, it means operating on them.
When you're dealing with very active people, how do you help them handle the entire process of recovery?
The hardest part with some patients is explaining to them that even though you feel great, you do have to have a period where you lay off. You adhere to precautions and protocol. But I think when you take a person, you have them do the least invasive procedure. That's what we want to do, is we want to be forefront, cutting edge, doing the least invasive possible to get people back onto a protocol that gets them back into the activity they want to do the fastest.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack.
Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule. And the best ticket prices, all available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across 94.5 ESPN and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. I'm Ben Brust alongside Kyle Wallace. Brad Nortman still across the pond. Chris Larson running the show. On YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee is where you can get your questions and comments in for our next guest, Brian Bulaga, who will be leading us into the Homer Hour. Brian, happy Victory Monday. It is great to have you. How are you today?
I'm good. Happy Victory Monday to everybody. What a show last night, huh?
Yeah, at this point, Brian, I have no problem saying it. He's the guy. Even if the guy means that he's only the quarterback for the next contract, but you have to make him your franchise quarterback. I mean, back-to-back primetime performances. When you look at no D-Bach, no Aaron Jones the majority of the year, the youngest wide receiver and tight end group since the 0-16 Browns. I'm probably missing stuff there too. Jordan Love has taken a young team and put the team on his back. It's just, to me, it's not talked about enough. He had everything working against him, and he's overcome it.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy. He is definitely the guy, and he continues to show it. And obviously, early in the season, it was a little bit of a struggle. I mean, let's not forget, it was not going well after that Chicago game. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm not saying it wasn't, but it wasn't going well. And the growth and the, just fantastic performances we've seen over the last now 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, it shows you who he really is. It really does. And with his confidence and with his better performances, we're starting to see these other receivers starting now to come around. And obviously, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, maybe even 6 weeks ago, we were on this program and the Homer Hour and Wilde and Tausch. I mean, I was on all these programs, and we were all talking about draft picks, and does Goody know what he's doing with receivers and this and that, and here we are, and these kids are starting to perform now, right? And they're all starting to click together, and it looks good. And tight ends are coming out of the woodwork that we really never heard of, and they're scoring touchdowns and making plays and blocking. It's fun to watch because you don't know what you're going to get week to week, and I think that makes it a little more exciting. But now we're starting to see really good performances week to week, and different guys are popping up and making plays, and it's fun. It's really fun. It's a fun team.
Brian, you played in the NFL. I mean, how does this happen? How does this team go from you watched them beat the Rams and you're just not impressed to this team that all of a sudden beat the Lions, first place Lions, and then beat the defending Super Bowl champions? How does this happen?
It's a good question, and the thing that I can only rely on and fall back to is confidence. They got confidence, I believe, in that Pittsburgh game. Mm-hmm. I think that's what
Jason Wilde told us. He was like, the thing that stood out to me was Matt LaFleur talking after the game yesterday, that he referenced the Pittsburgh game, that something felt different.
Yes, and I didn't see that interview, but to me, after that Pittsburgh game, where I walked away from the Pittsburgh game going, you know what? I think this was a game. I get they lost, and it was probably good that they lost. You learn from that. You play well and you lose. That's a big growing thing. But you played against a team. Now, obviously, Pittsburgh kind of stinks right now. But you played against a team that at the time was playing well. They were in playoff contention, and you played well, but you barely lost. But, you lost that game by just shooting yourself in the foot a few times. And I think watching that game on tape, kind of seeing hey, we can do this against a high-level team and with good players. If we clean up one or two things, we're going to start winning these games. And they just didn't clean up one or two things. They cleaned up a lot of things. It gave them confidence, and bang, here we are. This it's flying right now.
Bang! I love it. Bang!
Talking with Brian Bulaga here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, leading into the Homer Hour, which you'll hear Brian from 5 to 6. And, it could be a combination of both, Brian, but, what strikes you as more impressive? The way that Jordan has been able to, really get the teammates to buy into him from a confidence and poise standpoint, or just what he's actually doing on the field?
I think one goes with the other, right? I think the performance gets the guys to buy in. That's what I think they go hand in hand, but you need one to get the other. Obviously, early in the season, all the talk out of the locker room was, we got this guy's back, X, Y, Z, and we understand that. It's good teammate talk. And then they went through that rough patch, and we don't know how the team was reacting in the locker room, or this or that. Was defense pointing fingers, or was offense? We don't know that. But the solid performances start coming along, and guys look at that. And Jordan Love obviously has elevated his performance, tremendously. And guys see that, and they're attracted to that as a leader. And they want to kind of steer towards a guy like that and follow that guy and support that guy and play for that guy. And that's kind of what you're seeing right now. And the performances, you're looking at some of the throws, and you're looking at some of the poise in the pocket, and it just looks so familiar to me.
Reminiscent.
It just looks so familiar for me. And listen, I've said it once, and I'm going to say it again. Jordan Love will not be Aaron Rodgers, and that's good for him, because he's going to be his own guy, and he's going to grow, and he's going to be the best version of Jordan Love by the time this thing's all said and done, right? But you're looking at some of these mannerisms and some of these plays that he's making, and his demeanor at the line of scrimmage and his calmness, and it just reminds me of the guy that I played in front of. And obviously Jordan Love got to learn from this guy, right? He got to learn from Aaron and see how it's done and how to operate it. And things are going well, and you kind of you're seeing lots of similarities. Now, and that's, again, I repeat, they are not the same player. I will repeat it. But some of these great characteristics that Aaron has, clearly Jordan has taken, and he's using them, and he's blending it with his style and his play, and it's going really well, as we can all see.
Really looking forward to cutting up that audio and taking out the not part.
Yeah, of course. That's why I try to make that super clear. I don't want any mixed words.
Well, Brian, now that we look at it, we talked about Aaron Rodgers earlier. Are the Packers actually better off this season without Aaron Rodgers? Was it an addition by subtraction of one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time for this team, this specific team?
Man, I feel like we can this is like a hindsight question, because if we would have talked about this, 7 weeks ago, what would the answer probably have been? Everyone would have been probably saying no.
I was missing Aaron.
Yeah, you were. I was just going to call you out. I was going to say you were missing Boo.
I was missing my old Boo.
So it's kind of one of those questions where I think right now, and the team is where it is, right? And they moved in a direction that they did. And Jordan Love is the best guy for them right now. And it just is. And, as good as Aaron was and everything that he did for the organization, the team, the community, everything, he would admit it. Everyone admitted it. It was just time to move on. And in steps this kid that no one really knows anything about besides the people inside that building. And he starts off hot against the Bears. Then we go through a rough patch. And a lot of people are like, man, maybe we should have kept Aaron, or should have done this. Goody should have done that. And then all of a sudden, like we said, that Pittsburgh game, it flips. And all of a sudden, Jordan Love is just showing like he's the guy. This is the guy for this team right now. And he's going to be the guy for this team for the foreseeable future. And, going back to last week when we talked about $40 million, I'm going to tell you what.
Hang on, Brian.
Yeah,
Chris,
sorry.
You know what to do. Brian Bulaga, you are up for the Yodely game. And it's funny, I texted Chris, you got the Yodely sound, because you're not beholden to anything that you say here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. We all change, we all adapt, and we all evolve. The way this game works is just a refresher for the audience. I'm going to say some figures of millions of dollars. The average annual salary of Jordan Love's next contract. When Brian Bulaga feels satisfied, the Yodely guy will stop and not fall off the cliff like The Price is Right. We'll start the bidding out at $30 million.
Nope.
Do I hear $35 million?
Nope.
Do I hear $37.5 million?
Nope.
Do I hear $40 million?
Nope.
Do I hear $42.5 million?
Nope.
Do I hear $45 million?
Yes.
Wow. That is a shift.
Yes.
You have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, we could talk about, we could do the same game the last week of the season. It's probably going to go up, but if he continues to perform like this against the level of teams that he's doing it against, right? This isn't the Bears. This isn't, you know, who's bad still? Carolina,
Panthers, Bucks. I mean, their last 5 opponents.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing this against some really talented teams. And if he continues to do this, that number, they have, like I said before, they have no choice. They have to do it. And they will do it. And, you know, kudos to him. All he does is go out there, stays the course, continues to perform, and it's really fun to watch.
Well, Brian, looking forward to hearing you and Homer on the Homer Hour from 5 to 6 on my drive back to Milwaukee. Do you want to get involved? I'm donating $100 per touchdown that Jordan Love throws the rest of the season to Coach Guard's Guarding Against Cancer. You don't have to, no pressure, but just wanted to provide the opportunity.
I'm in.
Boom. Kyle, you know what that did?
What did that do?
That put us to $2,000 per touchdown. It just is from the Chiefs game to the end of the season, Brian.
Love it. That's great.
We're up to 6,000 thanks to you. That is $2,000 per touchdown.
Wonderful,
thank you, Brian Bulaga. Kyle's going to be jumping in Lake Michigan, too, with that donation, so thank you. Homer Hour with Brian Bulaga. Up next.
Everything is looking slow on 43. We got a couple of accidents. One at Fond du Lac Avenue off on the right shoulder. A couple cars involved with that. And then we've also got one southbound 43 heading through the Marquette interchange, again on the right shoulder. Delays stretching from Silver Spring pretty much all the way down to those accident scenes into the Marquette. On northbound 43, backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way to Keefe. And then southbound 41, slowing from Appleton Avenue down to Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net. That's NEAL Group.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, a light snow and rain mix, less than an inch of accumulation.